Welcome back to our Seattle Seahawks franchise. It feels good to be back. We are going to be doing a 10-year rebuild of our Seattle Seahawks franchise that we had for the Madden 23 season. So I do apologize if you are a Seahawks fan clicking on this thing and saying, he tricked me! He clickbaited me! Because I think I might title it like Seattle Seahawks 10-year rebuild or something, just to get people to watch. Evil. But of course, it's still the Seahawks. But this is what the team looks like. If you didn't really watch the series or whatnot, this is kind of the roster we finished with. It's kind of crazy though, because you look at this team compared to our minors franchise. Sure, obviously the skill position players are ridiculous, but the O-line's not really that great here. I probably should have upped the sliders a little bit, but obviously the main man himself, Greer, he changed the entire franchise, the entire pathing of this franchise. We had Hikaru, who was so hit or miss, and then Greer was just a slinger, dude. He hit everything. Super fun to run with, super fun to throw with. He was just busted. I don't know what else to tell you. It really does help that he started with Gunslinger, whatever. I'm not sure which one, but one of them. Metcalf, honestly, though, at times made the series too easy. He's so good. He was just outrunning everyone on those streak routes. Patterson was kind of an in-between guy. He was 6'3". I thought he was 6'2", which, I mean, not really much of a difference, but very solid player as well. Super shifty and got open a lot. And then a lot of the times at the slot receiver position, we had injuries. So Xavier Moore at times showed like he was going to be the guy, but we had a lot of injuries at that slot position, and he would have had so many better seasons in this if he would have actually stayed healthy. And then Fant, he became a god. He's an X Factor. He's 27. So a lot of these guys you're seeing here, outside of maybe Greer, will likely be gone by the end of this rebuild, which will take a long time. So if you guys are excited for this, you're happy that it's finally here, maybe leave a like, maybe subscribe if you're new. It's kind of weird if first video you're seeing me is this, when it's not really a Seahawks rebuild. It's a Seahawks franchise rebuild. But at the same time, in a way, this is like a 14-year, Seattle Seahawks rebuild, as, we did use the regular roster. It's not like it's some special roster. Tanner, really good backup. He would be a starter on most teams. He would be a starter on our minors franchise, probably. It's kind of crazy, but backup. And then, of course, Jacobson never really got a chance to, get it going. Been thinking about, kind of maybe moving him over to the minors franchise as like a competitor, not even on our team. 6'8", super fast, was a backup though, because Fant was just him. Simply put, Fant was just that guy. And that's pretty much that. The offensive line was basic. It's an offensive line. What do you want? It's not that exciting. Nwosu, he was really good for us. This is a really good defense. Mafe was an X factor pretty early on, and we got some really good luck with X factors or breakouts and all that. End of the season dev ups were pretty good too, and obviously the cornerbacks, specifically Tariq Woolen, who killed it in that number 2 role, just locking everyone down. I mean, he will be here probably. Oh, he's 26. I thought he was 24. I don't know why. I do know he's a little bit older in real life, but he's obviously insane. I mean, that's just, you can't ask for a better corner than that. And then Chambers, obviously, he was really good in that rookie role after we got rid of Mr. Sidney. And then, of course, Northcutt, a lot of injuries at this defensive line position as well. Northcutt was starting to develop a little bit as that true nose tackle type, but obviously, he, is just a big dude that just gets in the space. He doesn't really get a whole lot of burn when it comes to actually getting the quarterback. Ed Oliver was, once again, another guy that got injured a lot. He was all right. He was okay at times. He looked really good. But Red, he was the true interior rush master, as he was always getting pressure, always getting in there and creating problems. Jordan Brooks is obviously him. Super beastly player. Never got to X Factor, but he was so good. And look at those ratings. I mean, how much more could you ask for? And then obviously looking at the DBs, Jamal Adams was a force to be reckoned with. Marshall was really hard to get a ball past him. But obviously there are some players like Jamal Adams who will be gone very quickly in this rebuild. So obviously, even though it's not really going to be much of a rebuild, it's there's some names that need to be replaced, but there are also some long-term starters that are going to be here for some time. Kenneth Walker probably not much more than 24, so he might even retire right as the rebuild's ending. So there's obviously some players to replace, and money will become a problem. But for right now, this team should be able to compete for a couple more rings, as we obviously just won a Super Bowl, and that's how the series ended. And obviously that was back-to-back Super Bowls, so chance to three-peat and become the greatest team of all time right out the gate. I'm also not sure how I'm going to be editing this video, so I hope it's not too long. We didn't re-sign Tariq Woolen out the gate? What the hell is wrong with me? Okay, let's solve this. A 3-year 57. We look like we were offering like just at that. Obviously, Tariq Woolen is him, so a 5-year deal worth 105. Nice. Look at me. Future me just knows things. Phillips is obviously a cheap backup. He was never intended to be signed long-term. Caldwell was a great return man, but we obviously know the trajectory of this team, and that trajectory is that we're going to be broke. But you have to remember, obviously playing as a user with a solid team is good enough to win a Super Bowl, but will it be good enough to win a Super Bowl in Sim? We might not win a single Super Bowl after this, the seasons we played. Micah Parsons is great, but just not a need at the moment. But at the same time, 20 mil per over 4 is feasible. So we probably will have to take a look at our options, because Nwosu's not the youngest guy in the world anymore. Jordan Davis would be a nice little signing. I don't know how good he is, but obviously this is some pretty good talent here, and it's hard to just ignore them because we want to save money for the future, but we will have to pay attention to that. No power or finesse, but 88 block shed, which is what you want in the nose tackle spot. I think I would be fine with just keeping Northcutt, though, because Northcutt's actually not much worse than that, and he's still on a rookie deal. I think you just try to stay cheap. Oh, look at Malik Willis, 83 overall. You try to stay as cheap as possible, and as of right now, I think that's just keeping the players we have. But quick look at the contracts. Ed Oliver is probably going to be gone after this, so we're probably going to be looking at a DT, and then it probably wouldn't hurt to get a new lineman, as Elton Jenkins is good, even though he was pretty iffy for us in the series, to be honest. But he is very expensive, and he's getting up there in age. Charles Cross is going to ask for 20 per, and he's probably going to give up a lot of sacks anyways. Backup quarterback, who cares? So O-line, which is probably going to be a common theme in this rebuild, and I suppose DT would be our focuses of this draft. Oh, speaking of rookie deals, I guess Northcutt needs a contract. So yeah, DTs, multiple of them, and many linemen, actually, like 3 or 4. All right, so we're in the draft. They have a couple of first-round DTs. I'm going to move down until, one of them is remaining, like the traditional stuff we do. And hopefully the one that's remaining is the best of the 3. Is there's 2 DNs that I think are better than the DT, but the DT is probably going to be the one that's left last. But we're going to go down there, see if we need to make a trade up, or if we get to sit at 32. They're all 1-2s, I believe. Actually, one of them might be around 1, which, it is what it is. Ooh, they went back-to-back, so I'm going to have to trade up with the Minnesota Vikings 3 spots to get our guy. And it is actually one of the better ones, so it's not, like we're stuck with an ET, thankfully. But we are going to be trading off pick whatever the hell that is in a 4th-round pick. I think that's easily fair this late in the first. They're definitely gaining on that. And with this pick, we're going to be taking a defensive end who is basically a new defensive tackle for, when we lose. Walker's also who I want, but, he's actually lighter than I thought. He's 278. Still, 32 bench press reps. He's still worth it, I think. A power move, a tackle. Welcome to the team. Zach Durham, who is hidden development trade, 88 strength, 84 speed. He's actually kind of a freak. You can play him on the edge or interior, but I think we probably will be playing him on the interior. And then I do have, obviously, a bunch of other players, but I don't think I'm going to need to trade up again. I think I'll just, fall and see what happens. Hopefully not hurt myself when I fall. Offensive line, round 1 talent. Nice stuff there. Cornerbacks, DBs in general. There actually are some decent ones, but we don't really need one right now. So I suppose our next pick might be Calvin Walker, another future DT pick where, the DT 1 spot for us right now. We probably need more of a nose tackle type, but 293, even though it's kind of on the smaller side, maybe you still put him there. I don't know. I do like Wolf, but Calvin Walker looks great with that 1-2 talent grade with an A finesse. There are also some linemen, though. I guess we're just going to move to the next spot and see what happens. Safety Keith Moss is still there. He's 22 years old. He would be the future replacement for Jamal Adams. Don't know if he is that great, but he does look decent with that B zone coverage. I'm having a troublesome time because there's some really solid linemen here, and we have guys that are going to be on their rookie deals. They're going to be off of them soon. I think I'm just going to take Calvin Walker and then figure the rest out later. And he's hidden. Another 88 strengther. Does he really fit the scheme when we need a true nose tackle? Probably not, but what can you do about it? Pick 32, and then the next pick we have is 32 in the 3rd round, though, so that might need to be a trade up. But from here, we still have some linemen, round 1 talent grade, Walt Wynn, who looks great. Not really a whole lot of talent outside of that. Do I not just take McCullum to play center, and then Walt Wynn plays guard or something. I'm going to do it. Emmett McCollum, hidden development trade. 388 strength players, though. 3 of them. Okay. Typically, these 3 to 4 linemen go within the first 10 picks. I'm going to go to 5, and then... Actually, let's go to the Browns, please. He's still there. Okay, so this could cost us a little bit, but maybe the Browns need a player we don't need anymore. As much as I like having a really sick backup, his rookie deal is somewhat coming up, being over. Not really, but I'm making an argument here for no reason. I don't think they're going to need that position, though. DT, actually, they could use a DT. So why not give him Northcutt, who is star development trade in the end anyways. And who's the other DT? Wilkins. We never actually used him, did we? That's what it is. So Northcutt, Barnett, and like a 7th? I mean, those are pretty good players. They'll take them. I mean, I'm not really sure if I'm even going full realism mode or not, but it's a trade that is all right. If you got the money to pay these guys, star development trade, 77 overall nose tackle with 80 block shed, 84 power move or something like that, that's actually pretty good. Maybe debatably could have actually signed them ourselves, but... It is what it is. Walt Wynn. Of course. What else do we have? And Coda. I mean, do I really want... I mean, this nose tackle's all right, but do I really need him? Do I really want him? Carroll could be an option. I think we're just going to move down, and then if Carroll's there, maybe I take him just because. But, yeah, that offensive lineman right there, Wynn, was a super L, dude. It was not a win at all. His name is a lie. Let's go to the next pick. So, I think Carroll's the better of the two. I got 2 A's versus the other one's got a bunch of roughness. J.R. Carroll, hidden development trade, of course. The guy with a 1 grade, or was it was actually round 1, wasn't it? Or was it 1 and 2? Either way, I mean, might be decent, but as far as hitting goes, that is far from the truth. Max Evans with some speed. Also do have a running back. Could trade off our running back and then have another young developer. As you can see, A-Truck. He actually is really good. Linebacker isn't really that big of a need just yet. But this guy... You know what? I'm going to take Max Evans. He is hidden. Nice. And then I'm going to go to the 5th round. If the running back's there, I'll take him. But we're not fiending for one. Whereas linebacker, we obviously just traded off, a decent backup. Mr. Raheem Robertson, who looks pretty promising. Normal development trade, but 92 speed, 92 excel. This guy's beastly. If you've been watching our minors franchise, that guy kind of reminds me of Ben Dickerson, the guy we talk about a lot that is on the Patriots that we really should have drafted. We obviously have Tony House now over there, but definitely looks similar to him. I will say that is a very good build, especially if the trucking and stiff arm is true, which usually it is. And there's no favorites left, so we are going to just see the draft recap and call it an offseason. All right, looking at the overall, some pretty good ones. No one like superbly high, but 74 overall is kind of the basis. We had multiple of them. Let's take a look at Zach Durham, the hidden development trait hybrid, if you will. Bull rush, strip move. I don't know what his dev is, but I suppose his position would probably be right end, but I don't think he's going to play that yet unless we trade Ed Oliver off, which I don't know if I want that to be this. I don't want this to be that type of rebuild where like I'm just trading off all of our talent because they're about to be on contract years. That's about to be over. It's like, we get it, you can do that, and that probably is the smart thing to do, but I don't know, dude. It doesn't really happen that often. Another star development trait player. He probably will play the nose tackle spot, which maybe not the greatest for him. But McCollum, he's a center, but he also isn't like really a center. We probably don't need to look at these guys because pretty much all of these guys are going to be backups, to be honest, but they are future starters more than likely. Win, even though he's normal development trait, is 74 overall, so I guess he's a very good pass blocker, but I think we'll be looking to replace him. And then, obviously, Carroll already basically replacing him. We got enough right guards, it seems, so let's go with left guard. The team is going to be set for the future, let's just be honest. That's just how it goes in these rebuilds, especially when it's this late. But, yeah, let's see. What else do we have? The middle linebacker, Mr. Max Evans, who had a B zone coverage, which seemed to be a lie. He's got the same block shed as he does zone, which... That is not what I would gather from scouting, but his dev is, I was about to say because I thought it was going to be like superstar, but it's not. So a pretty tame class, but at the same time, we didn't lose anything for next year, and they are, all pretty good overalls. And like I said, this guy is a freak, though. This guy has so much potential, even though his injury and toughness sucks. But because he's on our team, he has basically zero potential. Especially when Ed Oliver is actually like not really a savings. I think you try to keep the team alive for another season and win another Super Bowl if you can. So we are going to just keep everyone on the roster, even if they need a contract going forward. Even if we're likely to lose them, only because, we want to get a Super Bowl, another Super Bowl out of this, and, at the end of the day, I think that's the smartest and most realistic move. We also have Lippett, who hasn't even played. Now, Lippett, I think, is a guy I will trade off, because he'll be in his contract year when he finally starts. I don't want to really develop a guy that's, not going to be here long. So you're going to see a lot of that from this rebuild, though. A lot of offensive line shifting, because I just don't think you can pay these guys when you're doing a long-term rebuild with other players like wide receivers, quarterback, corner, edge rushers, all those positions needing to be replaced, and them being a bit harder to develop than these linemen. So I might try to trade off these linemen for a package to a team that needs them. Well, it looks like the Bengals need them. Second-round pick, 24-star, 76. I'm going to make it a 3rd and a 5, I think. I just think, even though those are the values, because it's so easy to draft those positions in the draft, and those are pretty good investments, I just don't know if a second round's worth it, but hoping no one's mad at me. I feel like that was pretty fair. I think we could have easily gotten a first-round pick out of that, so the fact that we settled for a 3rd and a 5th, we went about as fair as you can ask. I forgot about Tyson West as well. We have too much talent. That's why I was honestly debating on making this a 10-year sim. What the hell? I think I used to call them sims, right? Where I just watched rather than participated. A little cuck action. But, yeah, we're going to do the rebuild. Also, why did his name have to go so hard, though? Clayton Riggs is so beast, though, isn't it? Clayton Riggs, reporting for duty, sir. That would be scary. Clayton MF and Riggs, bruh. So technically year 5, but year 1 of the 10-year rebuild. I'm just going to call it how it is, this rebuild, rather than doing 15 years, whatever. The offensive line is the way it was. Basically the whole team is the way it was, but new backups, new rotations for certain positions, and then the DT1 spot is different. Other than that, everything's pretty much the same as it was when we actually were playing this series with, like I said, those rotational players and then the future starters potentially at that offensive line position. Chambers, pretty even players, so I suppose at this point you would go with slot, because we will be auto-upgrading. It's a 10-year rebuild. It's going to take even longer than a normal rebuild, and on top of it, doing manual upgrades. Basically, if you were to have a regular, upgrading situation without auto-upgrading, you probably get 100+ upgrade points a season, and imagine trying to manually upgrade all of those players. It would be A, very long, and B, technically unfair, because the AI upgrades that way, so our players would be perfectly balanced in a good fashion for those positions. Offensive line would, interior would be focusing on power, and those other guys wouldn't. So it'd be not only longer, but also technically unfair, like I said. So it is what it is. And the youngster already with a breakout or camp standout getting a +3 to power and finesse just for being here. Which, speaking of, thank you for being here. That's about it. Let's go. Off to a pretty good start. 123 mil as well to work with. Ed Oliver, a contract that is feasible, but not going to be doing that. Now, Elton Jenkins, on the other hand here, that is a very decent contract. A 2-year 27 isn't terrible. Rookie deals, 5 or 6 mil per probably. Even Charles Cross, 15 mil per. We have seen that, but we have seen worse. How well is he actually playing? 2 sacks allowed halfway through the season for a left tackle is basically like Trent Williams on crack. So I'm actually going to pay him. I guess we're paying some linemen. 5-year 77 is not bad. I maybe should have done a 7-year to be honest. But here is where it doesn't, 83 overall, center, 11 per pretty much. He's not bad, but needs work. Probably not worth it. But Banson, even though he was pretty bad for us when he actually played in our, situation, he's actually not bad ratings-wise. So I guess we don't actually need that many linemen because these contracts are kind of working for me. A 7-year 49. I'm not really sure why some of these contracts are cheap. Clayton Riggs, as much as I like him, 5 mil per for a tight end or a fullback is not cutting it. Moore, I'll have to take a look at how he's playing because if he can get to star dev, he might actually be worth keeping. But oops, that's Porter. Not a bad player either, but that is a backup safety. So probably not going to get him back, whereas he might end up hitting free agency anyways. So, like after the free agency bid wars. And yeah, Moore's not really looking that good. So we'll probably just replace him with some other speedy guy. Kalen Barnes I do like as a slot corner, and he's not terribly expensive, so a 3-year 10.5. That's the thing that's nice about winning a lot of games and having a lot of franchise players and mentors all over the place because they're good. helps because obviously these contract re-signings may be the smoothest I've ever had in any sort of quote-unquote rebuild situation. And we're simming a little bit. I think I have Green Bay offense, Pittsburgh defense, because that's basically what I ran most of the games we played, at least as a base. And we'll see. It was a really good start to the season. Did it finish out that way? Not quite. Wow, really? No bye week at 14-3? Who the hell? The Falcons at 15-2. Were they? Oh, yeah, they actually did have a really good roster, if I remember correctly. But let's take a look at the team real quick. No bye week, which is a huge L, but that's okay. As, wow, we did do, like, undefeated until this stretch, and then one of them was the Falcons. If we would have beat them, we'd had the bye week. Oh, that's kind of a sell, to be honest. Let's take a look at Kenneth Walker was number 2 on rushing. Lawrence Greer with this, playbook. Very good touch on a pick ratio. Yards are, they're good. Touchdowns would have been nice to be a little bit better, but we did have a lot of rushing touchdowns, and rushing success in general was great. Patterson could go to superstar because the touchdown and yards are good. Tight end numbers are pretty low, and so is the slot receiver numbers. O-line, very good season from Charles Cross. Totally deserved the contract. 5 sacks allowed for a left tackle is wildly good. Edge was great. Red was solid. Walker was pretty good. And then Ed Oliver with 6. Not great, to be honest, considering he's supposed to be the best of the interior. Alexander, really good season. That's got to be a dev up. And then Tariq Woolen, not bad. Kicking was solid. Punting was very solid as well. Kick return, we had a touchdown with West. Nothing for the punt return. But that's a really good season. And where's our guy? Because he's got to be up there. Number 9 with that touchdown to pick ratio is kind of wild. Any award wins at all, though? Calvin Walker, Rookie of the Year, so should be a superstar. And that is it. But that's all right. That's a pretty good season, especially considering we're not actually playing as the team. Let's go in against these Panthers. I'm not really sure what I want to do with these because going into the games and watching them is pretty slow. But this is the first season coming back, so I think the first season for sure we're going to have to watch. But other than that, I might have to just sim a lot of it because it takes a good chunk of time watching these through. And 10 seasons times 2 minutes per watch per game. That's a lot. That's a lot if we make the playoffs like almost every season. But we'll for the first season we'll take a look. But down by 7, tied up, 7-7, of course, 14-7. Defense doing well. Offense, another quick drive, 28-10. Halftime score of 28-17. The Panthers will not go away. 37-15, 37-20. One more touchdown should do it. That's pretty good, anyways. And we will win the game 52-23. Really solid performance there. A lot of scoring, and the defense finally got its footing and was able to lock down Greer against his former quarterback. I wouldn't say mentor, but they were kind of on the same team for a little bit. Hikaru got smoked on. Greer killed it. Kenneth was solid. Receivers, a lot of, it's team effort pretty much. Sacks. Walker and Reed really crushing it together. Both similar style players too. And then Morgan misses a field goal, which sucks, but overall was still a good performance for everyone. That's a really complete performance for the entire team. And then of course Milner. Do we know he was an X Factor, by the way? I can't remember if we knew. Because he was hidden forever, and he was our backup forever. Oh, 1 to injury. That's kind of cool. He really needs it, too, because he is a little chump. Of course, go with slot for Mr. Chambers. Kind of, filters back and forth anyways, probably. But he's having himself a season. Then, obviously, Charles Cross had himself a massively great season. Let's go with power, just because the game will probably go for pass, block, and finesse type of stuff anyways. It's a nice upgrade, as he's pretty much base across the, across the base. Let's go against who in the divisional round? Obviously not the Falcons. Would have been the 5th seed. The Cowboys. Probably not much better as their scheme is pretty busted, it seems. They have a lot of their original players, and Parsons resigned back to them. Zeke's even there still. Chargers going from pick 1 overall to championship bound as they beat the Jaguars. So far this game, not really looking good in our favor. Defense is doing its thing, but offense only finally scoring a touchdown. 10-3, a much different game than last week's game. And with that touchdown, it could be over. Defense is locking up right now. 24-3, 31-10. What a game for the defense. And we're headed to the championship round for the 3rd or 4th straight season at this rate. Greer, nowhere near the performance he had last week, but still did not throw a pick, so he didn't cost us anything. Rushing was solid. Tight end was great. Sack totals, Micah Parsons was ridiculous. Interception for Barnes, the little speedster that we have re-signed until he's 30 years old, when that speed's kind of gone and his value is, definitely diminished a little bit. Team's in a good spot, and it has a chance to become a three-peat Super Bowl champion team that will never, ever probably happen in NFL history. Let's see if we can do it, though, which definitely would give me good reason to just skip, sim all the playoff games instead of watching them. Obviously, we watch every Super Bowl, but you knew this is going to happen. It is the Falcons versus the Seahawks. 94 versus their 88. Ritter's an X factor. Quentin Williams is there. It's a good team. It is a ridiculous team. If I'm not mistaken, they have 3 beastly wide receivers. Chargers might have had a good run, but it's the Chiefs after all, and they are in the Super Bowl. Let's see if it's Chiefs versus Seahawks for the second straight season. Wow, that's a really good start for Atlanta. 14-0. Our defense didn't give up even that much all of last week. 17-7. Offense is really causing a lot of this, though, and we are only down by 3 now at halftime. Really good comeback, and it's all tied up. Down by 7. Still down by 7. Oh, my. I really need this team to get this because I can maybe come in and help. This is my team after all. This isn't just some random rebuild. I actually do care. 3rd and 1, you got to have it. 3rd and 1, you got to have it. I mean, this is... I don't actually know what you run here because they have... I mean, I guess you run mid-blitz. They've got too many receivers out here not to bring the heat, but you also still have the cover. And, I mean, you gotta get them after a while. Barnes, strip it, can't do it, and that will be the three-peat dream over. But that is going to be it for the three-peat chance. Falcons versus the Chiefs. Chiefs held up their end of the bargain. We, unfortunately, are a bunch of little sissy bums. And we lose, unfortunately. No three-peat here, and it's not going to happen here. It ain't going to happen in real life. Career worst game of the playoffs comes in the worst time, as our defense was also struggling. Run game wasn't really that good. It was just a bad performance for the entire offense, and the defense wasn't much better. No interceptions. Kicking was good, but who cares? 31-24, defense kind of let up, and then offense, too many turnovers. To the Super Bowl. Who's in it? Who's in it? What the hell am I even talking about? I meant to say, who's going to win it? Yeah, see, it rhymes, so I kind of covered my own ass. But Chiefs win by 7. That's a damn good game, I would imagine, unless it was like 42-0, and then they try to make the comeback. Didn't happen. DevOps, none for Patterson, which is kind of a scam. And then defensively... Walker goes up in dev, not really surprised, and then Alexander finally gets up in dev, and I believe those were the only dev ups we had, which, I mean, it's something, but Alexander, the newly found star development trait middle linebacker, and then Walker, who, of course, got the Rookie of the Year award, is now a superstar, so worthy of signing him. Also, yeah, I was about to say, I was like, isn't he white? Can he make up his mind? Transracial, I guess, is actually a thing after all. Here we go. Get your politics ready. Because my mans don't care about anything. I don't know. It is what it is. Durham, who looks way bigger than 278, going to be the replacement for Ed Oliver this upcoming season, I would imagine, because obviously we still have the draft stuff, and we're pretty much set on most positions. So, I don't know what to draft, dude. This is why I really want to do a 10-year sim, because I don't know what to do now. We kill the draft too often, and it's become a problem. Of course, Buckley, he's a good player, but we need to save this money. Once Greer, needs a contract, half of that 107's gone, I guess maybe we look for a wide receiver. We'll go high on wide receiver, first rounder probably. So free agency, $108 million. Ed Oliver is the premier guy. Deshaun Watson's here, superstar. Nobody wants him. Wide receiver, you can't pay a wide receiver, even if he is sick, especially since he's 6'5". We need a slot type, if anything. Jalen Hurts not that great. Earl Barnes. I mean, there's some okay players here, but yeah, this is definitely one of the weaker free agencies we've seen, specifically this rebuild. Obviously, it's only the second one anyways, but it's weaker overall. Buckley. I mean, maybe we can find a sneaky little contract for like a lineman that, if nobody's offering, I can try to, like this, even though we don't really need him, we could probably get an easy lineman. If I offer something like a 4-year 18, if he's willing to take it because nobody offers him, that's not a bad deal for us. That actually helps a lot. Ooh, that's a good contract. That's why I didn't want to pay Buckley, dude. Look at that. He is a lower overall, obviously, but I mean, that's a cheap deal. I'm probably not going to go for him because I can get rookie linemen that are better than that, but those are the type of contracts we're talking about. But yeah, overall, unless you're willing to spend a little bit of money, it doesn't seem like you're going to find great talent here. That guy's all right, actually, and that's a pretty cheap contract, but Just don't really need any positions right now. We're kind of sorted. Luke Marshall has a 5th-year option, but no matter what, I will not be taking that as A, it's probably cheaper to re-sign him long-term, and B, Milner probably gets the start this upcoming season just because he's an X factor. I mean, there's just no point. All right, pick 30. We do have a couple of wide receivers, so once again, pretty much going to play it out we did last season for the DTs, but this time for the wide receivers. Don't fully know everything about them. It seems like Al Carrington is a little bit better. I almost wonder if we don't get Carrington, if we just wait for Ford or just take him at 30 or whatever anyways, but that D to catch in traffic is rough, but the route running with the catch in traffic is decent. I think it's Carrington or Ford, to be honest, so honestly, do I not just go to 30? Because I'm not going to... I would imagine Carrington's going to be first anyways, so it'd be nice if he's there, but I think we're just going to go to this spot and hope Carrington's there. If he's not, we might just reach for Ford and just call it a day. Carrington is gone. Buchanan, how fast was he? He's 22 years old, 4.32, great speed with Elite Excel versus Ford, who is 21 years old, elite speed, elite Excel. It's a little early, but people cry that I trade down too much, so I'm going to grab him. Daryl Ford, normal development trait, but 97 speed, 97 or 98 Excel. We'll see what kind of overall he is, but I probably sold. I bet you that other guy, even though he has that D catch in traffic, is going to be same catch in traffic as our guy anyways, but he's going to... Devion Bell, interesting. He's going to be hidden dev. Watch. I just can guarantee it. Next on the board, though, is these two linemen look pretty good. There's a lot of linemen. If there's not at least one lineman there, I would be shocked. I don't really need a whole lot, but I just keep going for linemen because you can never have too many linemen. There's 5 of them you need to place, and, you know, that's going to be the position you probably need the most of. So we're going to go with that. Trade down, or move down anyways, not trade down. And then if there's any linemen there, there are, but none of the ones I had scouted that well. Jeremy Brown's probably the safest of the bets. Could go with another DT, but I'd probably just rather go with Gilsley at 15 if he's there. And yeah, I mean, I guess I'm going to go with Mr. Jeremy Brown. Jeremy Brown's our guy. In development trait, good pick. And the DT is still there at 15, so we're going to be grabbing Mr. Denzel Gillisley, a finesse with okay athleticism is normal. You knew sooner or later we were going to get it, but it is what it is. It's an okay pick. And then at 30, you might end up taking the nose tackle as well. We are just filling up on the trenches, but like I said, at this point, we're on excess. We don't really... Oh, the tight end, actually. I almost didn't grab this guy. There was also a 6'8 tight end, but he didn't look that good. Mitch Nance, hidden development trait with 88 speed, only 81 Excel, but almost missed out on that tight end. Not that we really need him, but we could probably trade off Ross Jacobson for even a second-round pick. He's 6'8 and really fast. There was a 6'8 tight end. I don't know where the hell he was, but he looked really bad. But I am curious to see. He must have already went then. So maybe it wasn't that bad. I don't know, but let's keep drafting if there's anyone to take. And I guess there's a pass rusher here. Why not? 6'3", Robertson, decent speed with a B finesse. Probably going to be super raw. 82 speed, not very fast, but, you know, those are the types of players you're going to get. I would say that build of a player is 95% of the time normal development rate, but you can always use an extra edge rusher, so why not? And then, even though this guy looks better, he's a UDFA. We'll go after who is faster, to be fair. 4.24. It's going to be hard to beat that, in fairness. Let's see. 4.24 with elite speed versus 4.27. Oh, this guy actually technically is faster because the left side acceleration. So we're going to go with him. 97 speed, 98 Excel. The same as our wide receiver we took in the first. If this guy is better or similar to that guy, I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be so mad. But since he's a first-round pick, I mean... pretty much have to start him, right? And everyone else is back up. We don't have a fullback on the roster, though, so let's find one. 2 A run blocks. I would probably take Webster because he at least has a B to D pass block, whereas this guy has straight up F. He ain't messing around. Ooh, what about Burton, though? Yeah, this guy has a little more potential for me. So Travis Burton, he's 24, but we don't pay fullbacks anyway, so welcome to the squad. Alrighty, 75 overall for the wide receiver. We obviously have to compare him to the other guys. That cornerback I took was terrible. The fullback's not much better. That wide receiver is, you know, who he is. Let's take a look at Mr. Ford. 5'8", super tiny but fast. Fun as hell, I'd imagine. All the catching traits. Injury is a little iffy. Toughness is all right. Stamina is okay. Got to compare to the other guy. I wanted Carrington the most, obviously. All these other guys, I mean, who even cares? They're not even going to start, but... I want to see the other guys, the other wide receivers. When did Carrington go? Please tell me he went. He went 2 picks before us. Please be normal as well. He is slower in fairness, but hidden development trait in a rebuild, it doesn't really matter the speed, I don't feel like, too much, but let's see the dev. Okay, fair enough. I can live with that. Our guy actually was significantly better because the dev difference, is only star and normal. And then the other wide receiver, I don't even remember his name. It was Stanton, I think. Oh, no, Buchanan. 75 overall, also hidden. Pretty similar in speed to the other guy. Toughness and stamina, or, injury stuff is a little bit better than our guy as well. But what's the dev? Buchanan was also star. So I think we still landed the best out of the 3 because of that speed. 1 overall was a running back, by the way. I would assume generational. Really good juke move. 95 speed. If he's not generational, it doesn't really matter, but would be a little bit of an L. And he is superstar. That's, just as good as generational, to be fair. I should probably take a look at more. Oh, there was a guy that was even higher below him. Channing Jones. Holy crap. He puts the other guy to shame. What's the dev, though? This guy might be star. A lot of these really high overalls are either X Factor or star. Damn, they sold. Still a good one, but the Broncos got the better of the 2. And if I can find that tight end, I will. I thought this was him, but 77 overall star or better for that guy. Where's the other tight end? He was 6'8". This is him, 63 overall. Hidden development trait. The fact that he's 6'8", he's literally just like Ross Jacobson. The fact that he's 6'8", but only a 63 overall hidden, tells me he might be, because he went so high, might be higher than, he's superstar. That is an interesting guy. That is a very solid player. I might actually trade our guy off, though. As much as I love Ross Jacobson, he's worth at least a second-round pick to a team that needs him because he is talented, super talented, but obviously we've just been wasting him. I mean, he's really good. And here we go, Ross Jacobson to the Raiders for 51. Their starting tight end was Robert Tonyan, who is a 76 overall. Tanner for a 3rd round from the Titans. He's absolutely ridiculous, but at the same time, gonna need a contract, and it is a running back. So as much as he is ridiculous, and he would go for so much more than that in a user league, he is the starter here, even though Peters is, he's decent, but like Tanner is just so much better. I mean, juke move's not great, but 89 truck, 89 stiff arm, fits the scheme fast. I mean, he's really just like a smaller Derrick Henry, but I mean, I guess that's kind of the whole point of being Derrick Henry, isn't it? To not be small. I guess we will take a look at the dev of our tight end because I do want to change his number. So, start development trait, but thought we'd take a look. We got ourselves the year 2 team. Things really haven't changed too much. The center's different, but wide receiver 3, I guess, but not really much outside of that. And I guess, tight end 2, but that does, they don't really play too much. Right end is now Durham from last season. He's the new right end. Milner's playing free safety because he's an X Factor, 81 overall, and he's still, on his rookie deal for some time to come. Not very good on the field, but in sim probably will be. Corners are the same. A lot of the stuff is the same, but a few replacements here or there, and that's kind of it. But let's head on and see if, even though we don't get the repeat, maybe we can win 3 out of 4. All right, Noah Fant is him, and tight end's not that easy to replace, so a 4-year 50. Obviously, we got our tight end, but he's nowhere near as good as that, and we should actually work on this guy first. He wants big market, career win percentage, no players have a Bro, that mentor tag. Someone mentioned it in a comment recently on on the franchise reveal kind of trailer video that I was, I posted, and it is correct, though. Why would he care about a mentor at quarterback? He is the mentor. He is the franchise. He is the him. Might have to let Red go as well. Patterson, I think we can afford, so let's try to do that if we can. Let's do a 6-year deal and hope that he gets superstar. All right, so last season was very easy to re-sign these players. This season, not so much. Marshall's not asking for that much either. I think we can afford a lot of these players. I'm not going to lie. I think we can. We're going to even pay Pierre, I think. 7-year, 49. I'm not considering shorter deals at this moment. Please, Madden 24, be better. Here we are headed to the playoffs, and we get that bye week this time at 14-3. What are the Falcons looking like after they won the Super Bowl, right? Or was it the Chiefs? I don't even know. But 14-3, we ended up the best team in the NFC. And like I said, we will probably have to sim these games unless we win a Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl. Then we'll look at them because otherwise it's going to take too long. It's already probably too long. Video's probably already like 25 minutes long after Season 2. I'm so bad with this. I just talk and talk and talk, and I'm still doing it. Really good season from Greer. Solid from Kenneth. Bad from the backup, but expected. This scheme isn't really doing a whole lot for the number 3 or the tight end. And then I will say Cross has played really well, though. Sack totals, 11 for Nwosu. Might have to change the defensive scheme because we have too much talent to be this bad. Morgan got a contract, and he had a pretty good year. Kick return, punt return game, pretty tame stuff. MVP could have went to Greer. It didn't, number 3, but still a really good season nonetheless. And he will be a Pro Bowler, I would imagine. But yeah, a little lackluster in the stat department for some of the players. But ultimately, it was a good season, 14-3, got the bye week. Going against Arizona, 10-7, we beat them. Going against Atlanta, the team we actually lost to, and we lose again. Chiefs, Falcons, back-to-back seasons now. A bit annoyed. The Falcons are good, but they're not as good as us. They just simply aren't. But here they are. Oh, my God. That's what they deserve. 44-8. Take a look if we had any dev ups. I highly doubt any on offense because, if Patterson didn't get a dev up the season before, he's not going to get one this time. Didn't, as expected. And then defensively, I don't think so. It looks like no dev ups, not even for like Durham or anything like that. So, a good season wasted again by not winning the championship round and losing another chance at a Super Bowl, sadly, after season 2. Let's go to the re-signings, which we finished. Don't know what kind of money we have, but we did. We signed everyone we needed to. We're going to lose Marshall, but we have Milner for now. And we'll probably have to lose him too, and then Jamal Adams once he's gone. Although with 47 mil, do you not try to get him? So Red is too expensive, and he's not even playing that well. Marshall, though, I think I actually am going to pay him a 6-year deal. And if we can get rid of Jamal, I might get rid of him because that contract is really good for a young, solid player. Punter, I don't want to lose just yet, so I guess we'll pay him a 1 year, 3.5, 37 mil still. That's a backup free safety. We'll find someone else to play backup, but we did a really good job re-signing. We're just going to have to replace another DT, which, some of these positions, DT, maybe, safety in the future with Adams here, Milner maybe, perhaps more O-linemen, but so far we have been able to pay a lot of the players, just not all of them, but let's take a quick look at free agency. We're probably not going to spend too much in free agency like ever. We will pay attention, though, just in case there's a solid replacement for cheap money. But that's, like I said, unlikely to happen as, free agency is free agency for a reason. It's free agents, so you're going to be paying more on average here than anywhere else. So, yeah, it's also a pretty weak class anyways, so that's likely about that for free agency. It be draft time. Really what I need is more future stuff, mainly edge, but it's very hard to find edge that isn't like a top 15 pick, and that's kind of the case in this one as well. We do have like a day 3 that I might be willing to take in Mr. Connor. B finesse move, B tackle with a little bit of athleticism. Other than that, though, maybe cornerback with Tyquan Dawkins, perhaps, but outside of that, I don't know what to do, so I'm going to trade down. I don't know who this wide receiver is, but pick 30 and a 6 next year for 45 this and 77 this, which, once again, if that corner is there, I'm going to take him, but honestly, I really don't have much needs. Other than those positions like edge, which, like I said, I just can't get, later than, like, the first 10 to maybe 15. But Tyquan Lewis, I call him Lewis, Tyquan Dawkins, I think is worth it. Fast enough with those great speeds. And then obviously the key ratings look pretty good with hidden development rate. That's a good win. 21 years old as well. Could, if he's him, be here for easily the rest of this rebuild. So I'll take it. Linebacker, I don't know if that's actually a problem. We got a couple of nose tackles, but if I was going to go with one, I'd probably just wait for Powell. But this was a pretty weak draft class in general, and I guess I'll go with Tyler Haskins, who is hidden nice, really good strength as well. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to keep reiterating it, but at the end of the day, I was debating on doing a sim rather than a rebuild because this is kind of what happens very quickly in these ones when the team's already pretty damn good as is. I guess Manny Anderson, very raw, but the A zone coverage with blazing speed, why not? And another hidden. I don't know what else to tell you. We're killing it. And then you never know when a day 3 is going to go. Day 3 could be literally like, round 4, pick 1. So with that knowledge and our only kind of main need going forward, even though this guy's almost guaranteed to be normal, I'm going to go with Craig Connor, the B finesse. decent speed edge rusher who obviously, like we said, is normal. We knew it was going to be the case, but still just, you hope it's not going to be the case. And in general, like I said, that was our big need if you really, look at what we needed. Looking at other needs, nose tackle isn't really one of them, but I guess add it to the list. 21 years old, super strong, why not? Another hidden, dude. I mean, these hiddens are kind of rolling. Obviously, that edge rusher, which is the biggest position we have, a spot for on the team for the future, wasn't, but everyone else hidden development trade, which is great. And the center's still there. Do we really need a corner? We just got another one. This guy is pretty good. He's not as athletic as the other guy if you looked at the left side, but he's good enough probably. We don't really need any more whole linemen. How many linemen could you really use? I guess I'm going to take him. Jamarcus Scott, normal development trade, 91 speed, 92 excel. Not great, but a decent slot corner. Rookie deal for 4 years. It's all right. And we have one player left, Mr. Brandon Harden, 21 years old. Very athletic, normal development trade linebacker. The depth is insane. All right, looking at the overall/dev, 75 overall for the cornerback. He's hidden development trade, but will he get a chance to start ever? I don't know. Maybe at some point, but right now he looks to be the number 3, I think. He probably will start over Kalen Barnes, though, if he's even here still. I can't even keep track. Left guard, Tyler Haskins. I don't really care about his dev, but he is actually solid. I guess it really doesn't matter. None of these guys are really starters, and this guy's a decent little backup, but will he ever actually start? Probably not. We're going to have to give up some capital to get an actual pass rusher for the future, but Nwosu needs to be replaced, and Maffei's not super far behind, but Nwosu definitely is well on his way to needing to be replaced. So, it is what it is. I guess we'll let you take a look at the DT and the nose tackle, just because, we have had X factors before at this position, seen it a couple of times for ourselves and the AI, and not going to happen this time, sadly. I think we may try a new playbook this season, just because even though it's doing well, this team is too good to be just not making the Super Bowl every so often, whereas the Falcons and the Chiefs just seem to come in every single year and just win one, or get at least there. We are losing talent here and there. The D-line interior specifically is, dropping off every single season pretty much. And then, obviously, edge, specifically in Nwosu. Physical overall taking a bit of a toll here. But, we're trying our best to, replace that with young talent. And for the most part, other than edge, it's been all right. Derm with 10K XP after the camp standout start. All right, so we're not having that great of a season. There's some elderly players here that need contracts. Mathis, obviously. Milner, obviously. And I don't know if there's any other obviously, but maybe Brooks, because he is very good. If we win, we might be in the playoffs. If we lose, we're probably not going to be. We are in at 10-7, stealing the division last second. I don't know how a team this good is struggling to make the playoffs. Maybe I should have just kept it on Green Bay. It's just we weren't really getting over the hump of the playoffs. The first game or two we win, and then that's basically as far as we go. But, we ended up winning last couple of games there, turning around with the Chiefs playbook, and here we are. That's all I can really say about that. Greer was great, yes, and as usual. Rushing numbers are pretty good for Walker, even though they're getting worse each season. The backup was terrible. Patterson will be a superstar, finally. Metcalf was solid. Fant was amazing. Ford was okay. Blocking, not great, but tackle numbers are so hit or miss. And Nwosu with 11 sacks, 8 for Maffei, 7 for Durham, 6.5 for Walker. We need a new edge badly, and the sad part is the best one was the guy we're trying to replace because of age. 17 of 18 for the kicker. Punter, 51.6. Kicker return, punt return game, pretty tame. Maybe MVP with Greer, number 2. Very close, though. Award wins, you got Rookie of the Year with our slot corner, and that's it. But hey, we got to the playoffs. Is all that matters. We obviously will have to continue to skip the actual playoffs, watching them, as it's a bit of a long rebuild, obviously. Wow! Okay, we got to take a look at that, though. 43-0. Now, that is a game. That is a damn game if I've ever seen it. 43-0 gets smoked on. Boston with 2. It didn't even look like our offense was even that great. I guess Kenneth had a pretty good yards per carry because of the long run, but 0 touchdowns for the quarterback is something. Obviously, probably had a ton of rushing touchdowns, but we beat Detroit to get into the playoffs, I believe. Can we do it again? We can beat them again. Going against Dallas now for the Super Bowl shot. And we're in. And guess who? The Chiefs for 4 straight seasons now, I believe, Let's go in and see if we have ourselves yet another Super Bowl. All right, going to the end of the game, 7-0, 14-0, and all of our hopes are pretty much gone. 14-7. Okay, I lied. I got a little crazy with it. 28-14. What a first half. Up by 11 now. Up by 5. This is Choke City. Down by 3. And wow, have you ever seen a choke? There it is. 3rd and 5. The only chance to win the game. Here it is. Here it is. I mean, that's... Wow. I mean, I don't know what else I could do about that. I don't even know. Well, at least we get back to another Super Bowl. But yeah, this is... wow, and then he throws a pick on top of it. This is the definition of a wasted dynasty. Technically a dynasty, but also... You know, kind of not when the Chiefs are kind of like overtaking our own dynasty during our own era. You know, it's, I mean, wasted opportunity. I mean, this God squad getting those 2 Super Bowls and that's it. All the opportunities in the world just blown. We didn't actually take a look at the dev-ups if we even had any other than, I would assume, Patterson. He did go up in dev finally. And then defensively, Alexander's finally superstar, which is awesome. And I believe that to be it. Now, Dawkins went up in dev as well because of Rookie of the Year. But, I mean, a couple of upgrades in dev, specifically on defense. I guess offense technically got one as well with Patterson. Better late than never. He's probably like 27. You know, he's 26. So, good timing. Would have been nice to be a little bit sooner, but that's fine. Works out. And, yeah, I mean, we do have a lot of our core players still in place. And even though we've been selling a bit here of actually trying to win a Super Bowl... You know, we're still competing. And it does suck to lose really talented players for literally nothing. You know, obviously Jamal Adams is still a pretty good player at his overall. But if you're talking about real life, a guy his age, his talent level, at best, you're probably getting a 4th at, like, literally best. And I was like, you know what? Keep him on the team. Maybe make that one magical run. Win it all. I don't know. Ellen Jenkins, same kind of story. I want to keep him off the re-sign for now because there could be someone similar to him, but that's younger that we can pay. And also, once again, we keep drafting offensive linemen that we're just not using. But if there's ever a position I want to spend money on, or, I mean, not want to, but pretty much feel like I have to, it would be edge. So if there's a decent edge, I will take them. If not, I will pass on them. Ellen Jenkins getting some offers. I mean, we could definitely use him back, but at the same time, it's not a necessity. Edge, I mean, it seems like Nwoseu's the best bet, which is not a good sign because we just let him go. So it seems like we're going to have to put up some crazy money. Oh, what about this guy? 86 finesse. I'm willing to take him. I don't think you're going to get much better than this. I'm going to offer the contract, look at the scouting, and if I don't like what I see, I will keep this contract, and he'll be the starter for the future. All right, it's a bit of a risk, but we're trading 31 and a 4th next year. With Ford, the former first-round pick that we had, really wasn't playing super well for us, so trading all this to the Giants. I don't even have this pick yet. For a different wide receiver that looks really good as well. If he's gone, I'm going to look like such an... Okay, he's still there. Super risky. I couldn't get the team I wanted, even though, ironically enough, if I would have added that 4th, I probably would have actually made that trade. Wait a minute. We don't know... I don't know if I need Theory anymore because we just traded away. I didn't know a guy this good was going to be here. I'm going to go crazy and trade up. Sammy Theory. Hidden development trade, 84 speed, 80 excel. I didn't even have him on my list. I looked at the main page as I was about to go look at wide receivers and seen that beast-looking player sitting there, and I was not wrong. Who the hell is this guy? Another good-looking player? Maybe, but I don't care. So trade a second. This 3rd next, and Carroll, the left tackle, who is star development trade, 80 overall, 25 years old, to the Packers for 22, which is perfectly fine because I don't really need anything else other than this wide receiver. That edge rusher was kind of a cream of the crop luckiness, if you will. The safety looks pretty decent too. But Tony Evans, the risk that we placed to grab this guy, very similar to the guy we just had, but I figured because maybe he has a chance of being hidden and the other guy wasn't that good anyways, I would try a new wide receiver, and I'm back in the same boat. Alrighty then. Trade a 3rd, this, a 4th next, and Kalen Barnes for 65 from the Texans. It'll be our final trade of this, well, trade up at least, of this rebuild season. I almost said of this rebuild. Tight end solid is very fast. You know, some decent players. I might actually take Good in the 5th round. But I'm going to take Callaway with this pick and call it a draft pretty much. And there we go. Oh, that quarterback might have been decent. I have to take a look at him because he is currently not there. I don't know what to take here. I don't really need anything here. If this safety is decently fast, I might just take him for the depth. I need a fast safety as a backup or a special teamer, and that's basically the draft for me. Oh, this guy could be generational. Kilmer. 96 kick power. I seen that he was elite kick power, good accuracy, and A short. I was like, oh, he's like one of those weird generationals. Nope. He's still good, though. Let's take a look at this recap. 74. Okay, so we took a mad L with this wide receiver, but he is younger, I guess. The other guy wasn't really doing well anyway, so we got a younger contract, cheaper guy. Younger contract. Yep, that's what I meant, clearly. 95 jet direction. He is pretty filth, but doesn't really change anything. I wish he was hidden, but he's not. Sammy Theory, 93. What am I talking about? 83 power move. Very fast. I don't know what this dev is, but he's going to be the starter for us. Star dev. He is the starter, even though I paid that guy a 5-year 30. Might be the replacement for Mafe, especially if Mafe doesn't, improve how he's playing. And in general, needs a contract, which I would imagine soon enough will be the case for him. O-line, who cares? It's all, non-hidden. It's hidden to non-starters, who cares? But, yeah, the team keeps on getting slightly worse, but it is getting younger. We're keeping the team intact as much as possible. I don't know what the ceiling is for this team because we haven't even gotten to a Super Bowl win in a while. We're going to get 4th for win. He's still young enough, needs a contract. He is normal dev, but he is good. A lot of these teams don't see these players like we do, and, they would be starters on a lot of these teams. Also, there's no trade packages. I honestly just think teams are just either broke or they just don't want to do trades. Evans is probably worth more than a 6, but I'm getting something for a guy that's, once again, on a contract year that we're not going to use, so I'll take that, and... outside of that, I think, we're just, like I said, constantly getting worse. But I would imagine so are a lot of the other teams, because it's tough out here with that money. I don't even damn remember what season it is, but another season coming up here. Offensive line takes a little bit of a hit. Left guard. Backup O-line isn't, it's not looking great, but we do have 2 backup linemen that aren't even starting, so it is what it is. Evans, the new slot wide receiver, also normal dev, like the guy we just traded off. Mad L of a trade, but I suppose it is a little younger. Theory is going to be the right outside linebacker, with Hooker maybe playing left out in the future. I don't know. Hooker might just be a really expensive backup. And I say really expensive, like $6 million per year as a really good backup is not really that crazy. But the team's not bad. It's just, we couldn't win the Super Bowl with a God squad. The team's taking a little bit of a hit. What'll it happen? I don't know. Not bad time for Durham as he needs a contract this season. Gets the superstar dev up from the camp standout. Actually, it doesn't matter because we are kind of broke and he needs a contract. I don't think we're going to be paying that out. DK Metcalf, a 4-year 120. He is so good. That is a lot of money, though. 4-year 120, I'll do it, though. 43 mil left. Mafe is still really solid, even though he hasn't played solid. A 3-year, what was that, about 50 mil is fair enough. The center, 10 mil per, we're going to have to replace. We can't afford to pay all of these linemen, and we can't afford to just keep getting rid of interior guys, but... Calvin Walker, I think, is a guy that we are going to have to pay. Durham, 20 mil per is just not doable. So more interior guys need to be drafted, but at least it gives me something to draft. And it was a little bit of a shaky start early, but it turned out to be a really good season in the end, which is all that really matters. 13-4 season, no bye week, but still a really good one nonetheless. And I'm a little surprised because obviously, like I said, we are dropping talent here and there, and specifically at that end interior position. I know we've been doing a lot of seasons pretty quickly here. What a year for Greer. But it seems like we're losing these interior linemen so quickly. We draft them, and then like 10 seconds later, we have to replace them again. It's really crazy to me. Ooh, Evans. Maybe Rookie of the Year. Lacking of touchdowns tells me maybe not. Blocking, it's hit or miss. It doesn't matter. Mafe with a really good contract. After the 12.5. It sucks we're losing Durham, but we just can't afford him. Not only was it already 20 per, but it was red interest, so it would have costed us even more than that. We just can't afford that. Greer's got to be MVP. Bro. Can this man ever win one? Kenneth Walker with Offensive Player of the Year. We got Offensive and Rookie Defensive Player of the or Rookies of the Year, obviously. And then Kenneth Walker winning a couple of things. In general, really good season for him. But let's take a look. Can we get back to the Super Bowl? Can we actually win one this time? The Niners... in the division, we beat them. The Panthers. They're usually pretty good in sim. Not enough this time. The Falcons, we've seen them a lot. We beat them, not the Chiefs. It's the Ravens. Back-to-back Super Bowl years. Can we win the bowl, though? The Ravens are pretty good themselves. 94 to their 91. Let's see it. End of the game. 3-0. 3-0 still. Defense is trying its best, but offense is not really giving them much to work with. 3-all. What a super fun Super Bowl this is so far. 10-10. Second half, down by 3, up by 4 with a lead for once. Down by 3 again, though. Drive for nothing, and this looks like yet another... Wait, whose ball is this? Oh! It's a... No. We lose on a penalty. Good job. I thought it was a pick. It was a penalty. Good job. Back-to-back losses, unfortunately. But, I mean, what can we do? It's Sim. It's Sim. We have the better team than... I mean, well, everyone in the league, obviously, but... Getting cucked anyways, and we're about to lose Durham. Glad Morgan missed the kick, because that clearly wouldn't have played a factor, right? We do now have 40 mil, and Durham does get to X Factor, but we just can't afford him, dude. I don't want to lose a really good player. Maybe I offer him one deal, a 3-year 69. See what the tag is. It's going to be a lot more than that. Yeah, 31. I mean, we just can't afford him. I mean, even the contract I offered him, I didn't really feel good about, but what can you do? We ran out of money. I mean, 40 mil is 40 mil. It's not going to last forever. You know, there's probably going to be even more players that we have to pay this season. And interior linemen, not the hardest to replace. Edge, definitely one of them, but interior linemen, not really the hardest. Tariq Woolen is an example. He is 31 now, but maybe another year or two for him. Anyone else? See, now I'm really mad because I just learned that we don't actually have to pay anyone anytime soon. We actually have like a year or two of like being okay for once, it seems. Glad that we let Durham go. I guess to be fair, it is still a lot of money, but maybe we try to get him back or someone else. Durham, 1-year deal. It seems like nobody's really offering him anything crazy. A 3-year 69, what does that compare? Okay, so we're screwed. We're screwed with him, which really sucks because he actually was very good, but that it became too steep, and we did get I mean, we got a little cheap with him, I'll admit, but at the same time, it is quite up there. Other than that, I don't think we can really afford anyone. You know, it was maybe willing to go for the DT or, you know, interior guy like Durham, but there really wasn't any other than him in general, so we shall be moving on to the draft, I suppose, for our talent needs. Corner is not that hard of a position to draft either, so I'm not going to, you know, sign someone like him, especially when we probably will keep Woolen for another couple. But let's get to scouting with our limited picks. Probably going to have to draft DT. So we did... Oh, well, let me one sec. We did the classic wait and see strategy, and the one of the DTs that we were looking at is remaining. The DN was already decent, and you know, we couldn't get him. Tim Clifton, he looked very similar to the Durham guy that we just let go of, sadly, but this other guy looks even better, in my opinion, Trey Barber. So it was a 50-50 choice between the two. I think they were both great, but once again, classic wait and see, and Trey Barber's the guy who's hidden development traits, so win-win. And the classic more linemen. Tracy Trent looks really good too. I'm going to go for Bryce Vincent. Bunch of A's with a C. Hit development trait. And then I do want Trent because he looks kind of can't miss. He's a day 3, so maybe like pick 10 in the 3rd, trade up. 4th this, 5th this, and Robertson for 74 from the Packers to grab that lineman who is probably going to be normal development trait because a lot of these guys that look like can't misses when they're not in the 1st round are actually should have missed players, but Tracy Trent's our guy, and I guess I'm wrong. Hidden development trait. A lot of good key ratings. Bunch of speed type receivers. It's always hit or miss with these guys. Rhodes looks the best. They're all UDFAs, but 6 foot tall, 4'3", why not? Normal dev, speed. Here we got another one. Last time I took a Cooper, he was an X Factor, and another 97 speeder, but not an X Factor. Let's take a look at this draft class. Oh my, 71 overall for the DT. Could be, you know, superstar, I don't know, but yeah, not a great pick. 2 linemen. I mean, it's basically all trench work at this point. Those are the guys that are the hardest to keep because you need so many other great players that are tough to draft, and these guys just aren't as hard. That's what she said. Superstar development trait, which is, I mean, that's not a bad replacement for the X Factor Durham, who was our best sacker as of last season. Let's take a look at comparison of that guy that we drafted to this guy who is my, other guy on the list. And I'm going to be honest with you, because he had the build of Durham, I probably would have taken this guy over the guy we took. So the Dolphins clutching up for us. Thank you. Look at the little gem I found here. DJ Callahan, the guy that never really got a chance to start for us, but he'll be a backup safety at the moment. I think this is season 5. Like I said, I'm struggling to remember which season is which at this rate, but ultimately, this is what the team looks like. Evans obviously star development trade already because of the Rookie of the Year award win, making him, without a release, better than the other guys. So in the end, even though it was a sell at first, it seems to be a positive now. Greer, 98 overall, 27 years old. Obviously, just ridiculous. I mean, those ratings, that's just insane, dude. Of course, with the throw style as well, that just makes him unstoppable. Once again, defense, we're losing guys, especially on the interior of that 3-4, left and right, but it seemingly hasn't stopped us that much as we went to back-to-back Super Bowls and could be well on our way for a third straight. But can we actually win one, though? You know, we won 2 in a row when we were using the team, but as far as the AI on its own, not going so well. Another pretty good year, but how will it finish? Woolen needs a contract. He is not really that interested either, and we have $39 million to work with. Kicker, I mean, at this point, Morgan's probably on his last legs, especially with all the misses he's had. We might need a new tight end soon, but Woolen is a for sure, and the center being as cheap as he is at his overall, I mean, why wouldn't I do this? A 5-year 32.5, whereas, our previous center wanted a 3-year 32.5 pretty much. Tariq Woolen on a 2-year deal worth, if we can do it, 42 would not be bad. I mean, I'm not sure how much more I'm supposed to offer. Nance isn't bad either, and we are going to need a tight end soon because Fant isn't going to last that long. I mean, imagine he's in his 30s by now. I might have to let them go, though. I mean, we are barely managing this team at this rate. But yeah, we definitely want to keep Woolen for another 2 years if we can. A little bit of a sell near the end of the season, but still, wow, really big sell, actually. Multiple losses there, but still a playoff one, which is the goal. I would love to get another bye week, but, it is what it is. Looking at the regular season, though, I mean, if we wouldn't have won these 3 or even 2 of those 3, might have had the damn bye week, but not when you choke like that on the season. But let's take a look at the numbers yet again. Greer, his worst season by far, maybe even as a pro, even when we used him. Kind of curious to see those numbers, but yeah, I mean, technically even worse than when we used him. So, what's the passer rating? Ours was 112, actually, to be fair. Ours was actually basically the best season he's ever had. 114, very good too. But yeah, 103.6, by far his worst, without a doubt. He is Hall of Famer level at this point, but it'd be nice to see him finish out with a couple more rings. Kenneth Walker back to his usual ways. 3 1,000-yard receivers. Kenneth Walker with almost 800 yards receiving in the Chiefs scheme. Kind of crazy. Sack totals allowed was not bad. Sacks taken? I don't even know what that means. Sacks achieved, not great. Chambers, 5 interceptions, pretty good. Morgan, going to replace him. Punter, actually really bad. So we might need new special teamers in general. As far as award wins go, I can't imagine we would have won any, but look at Dak. How many MVPs has Dak won? Of course, Kenneth with another award winner too, which is awesome. Al Carrington, let's take a look at what his 86 overall. So he is still pretty low. It's only been a couple of seasons, in fairness, since he's been drafted, but it's pretty low. Gotta win this one. If we don't win this one, I don't feel good about a Super Bowl ever. Yep, I honestly don't think we're winning a Super Bowl AI. I really don't. I think it was us as a user, and outside of that, even though this team is amazing, it's just not going to happen. I just don't think it will. And the Falcons win another one. I mean, being well outshined by the Chiefs and Falcons in this rebuild kind of realm, if you will. DevOps, not on offense, as, I mean, most of the guys are max dev anyways. And then defense, I think we actually got a bunch here. I'm pretty sure Marshall and Chambers went up. Barber was already superstar, obviously, but we got a couple of dev-ups, though. I mean, Marshall he's 28 now, but that X factor is kind of big. I think we have him till he's like 31, if I'm not mistaken. And Chambers is probably very similar, probably 31, 32. He's 28 now, but another dev-up there. I mean, we have a 6 squad, and EA is just cucking us. His window's kind of closing. We got to pay Charles Cross yet again. And some of these guys are getting really old. Metcalf's, well on his way to retirement. Brooks is well on his way to retirement. Fant's well on his way to retirement. I mean, this window is like maybe a season or two open longer, and at that point we'll have some really young, players at some key positions like wide receiver, tight end, running back, perhaps. So this needs to happen soon if this team's going to win an AI Super Bowl. I mean, honestly, the way this wow, why the hell is this guy a free agent? I'm like half tempted to pay him for the future, even though it's a little early to replace Kenneth. This guy's nuts. He must have been a generational. They decided not to pay him. It's a lot of touchdowns. Yards per carry aren't crazy outside of his last season, but he might be worth keeping. I don't know. What team was he on this whole time running? It was the Broncos. They're not the greatest rush team in Sim. Some pretty good players here, that I will admit. Quentin Williams would be a nice little boost for one season, but this isn't a traditional rebuild. In those traditional rebuilds, we usually do make one or two moves that, like a 1 or 2 season kind of signing and try to push us over the edge, but we really don't have that kind of money in this one. In this one, you pretty much have to save any rollover you can for future contracts and hold on for dear life with the money that you've got for those players. But I am curious on this running back future signing. Kenneth is still good for a couple more years, though, so I think it's just a little too early. I think we're going to save money again. I don't know what the hell we even need. Was it another DT? I don't even know, but that's probably the route I'm going to go with this anyways, if there is one, and I actually don't know. Bassie looks all right, but I don't think he's that good. I think I might go Polk for the future. Corner wouldn't hurt, but that's, once again, kind of early. We have Woolen on a 2-year 45 at the moment. This corner does look really good, though. I mean, do I not just take him because I don't really have much else? I guess tackle, but we have plenty of offensive linemen for that. You know what? I actually am going to go with this corner. I think he looks good enough. Sidney Conley, very elite speed, it seems. Elite speed, great excel. Sidney Conley, 5'11", 22, and he's pretty fast with hitting. I mean, we've been killing the corners, just don't really need them, though. And as much as we could use a tight end for the future, that McNair guy wasn't that great. If he's here, I might grab him, but I'm not fiending for him, I suppose. But let's see what we got. And McNair is still there. I guess I go with him. Ladarius McNair, 6'4", 22 years old. Good enough. He's kind of reminds me of the tight end 2 that we just let go of, ironically enough. And actually better excel. So that excel was actually kind of a lie. He built similarly to the other guy we just got, but the other guy we just got rid of, the other guy had really low excel, though. This guy, the excel was a lie. He actually has good excel, despite what it said on the left side. And Polk goes, I'm pretty sure that was the guy we wanted, a nose tackle type. We kind of need to replace our nose tackle. Trout actually looks insane. I think we're going to trade up for good old Trout. Don't really have much to trade up with, so 88 this, 126, and 190 next for 71, which is only, 17 spots up, which is not a crazy amount, and we gave him pretty good fair value back. With this pick, we will be taking Mr. George Trout, who has a bunch of A's and a B, and, I mean, we're avoiding these normal dev linemen, which is, not always the easiest thing to do. We usually land a bunch of normal devs, but this time doing pretty well in the offensive line category. If we could just avoid that for pass rushers and wide receivers, it'd be great. But don't really need a pass rusher or receiver anytime soon. Taj Rivers, I don't think he's going to be there at 524. But hey, if he's there, great, awesome. If not, I really should have traded up. He's going to be gone, isn't he? We could use a backup running back that's on a rookie deal, and he's gone. And this kicker was so mid, and we already got Morgan back on a 2-year deal. I'm not going to go for him. I'm going to trade this down. Wait, was this not the guy? Oh, it was good. I looked at speed and thought it said poor for kick power, but wrong thing. Should have went for that running back, but oh man, nobody wants to trade with us, which really sucks. And I imagine we have literally every trait, or do we not? We don't actually. Oh, it's because we're on the slowest, aren't we, probably? It is what it is. Who cares? Let me out of here. Let me out of here, damn it. And let's manual trade. We've traded the rest of our draft class for a 4th round next year. And I know it's not the most realistic thing in the world, but at this point with this rebuild, I mean, I'm kind of running out of positions of need. We're basically just drafting the same, 4 positions every single season, it seems. And we're re-signing the players that we know are a bit harder at different positions that are really hard to get. So, I mean, What do you want from me? 3 draft picks, 78 overall for the corner, though. Future God corner, perhaps. Looks pretty good, where number 19 is not. We will need another running back, which kind of sucks, but 20, why not? Superstar, hey, that's a win. We're pretty good at drafting corners. We've been doing pretty well with that. Ladarius McNair, maybe the future starter at the position. I think Fant was 32 years old, so I don't know if he's going to get another contract. Dev for this guy is star, but that's all right. And then offensive lineman we don't care about. I mean, we do care, but you know what I mean. None of these rookies have started the first season in their rookie career ever. Another season deep. I think this is season 6. The ages are catching up. Patterson's probably 28. 29! He's even older than I thought. He would be awesome if you got to X Factor. The team is, they're getting there. They're just not performing well in the playoffs. Interior D-line, it's starting to develop a little bit, and that's when we're going to need to pay them again, isn't it? So that's going to be fun. But, yeah, let's go on to yet another probably disappointing season end in the playoffs. Solid season. 31 mil, though. It's happening, isn't it? So the guard is absolutely gone. The cornerback might be gone. I can't let him go. I can't. Even though we have Conley, I can't. A 6-year 84. Yeah, we're broke. So the tight end's gone. The tackle's for sure gone. The guard's gone. The DT's not asking for a lot. Anderson is a superstar. Since when? I think I might have to keep him. I think you just have to keep players that are either A, really hard to get because of their position, or B, are on sick contracts. This is one of those sick contracts. I mean, this is a bust. This is just cheating at this rate, but it is what it is. 13-4, still no bye week, though. The rest of the division is well out of the playoffs, though. I mean, where are these bye weeks? How is 13-4 not the best, especially since we are the best team? But let's take a look at the season yet again. I'm not seeing our name, unless I missed it, on that top 5 or top 3 at different kind of stats and whatnot. But Greer, another great season. Kenneth Walker, that was his worst season by a mile. 7 touchdowns only. Patterson was pretty good. Metcalf was all right. Fant was decent. Evans was useless. Looking at the blocking, was actually pretty good. Sacks, Mafe with only 9. Theory with 9.5. I've changed the defensive scheme a little bit here every other season, and we're not really getting the pressure that I feel like we should, but maybe it's just because offensive linemen are better now. Ritter wins MVP, and award wins. McIntyre actually was looking at to draft him, but don't really need him anyways. We got a really good corner anyways from the draft, but this is our best chance to win another Super Bowl besides the previous years. We're going to lose Fant. We're going to lose some linemen. We're going to lose a lot here in this offseason. This is the time to do it, winning that first game and then losing. It's the drop-off. Drop-off's coming right here, so I don't know. If it hasn't happened up to this point, even though we've had a couple of trips to the Super Bowl, I really don't think we're going to win one with the AI. I really don't. It's going to take a lot of luck. I'm not really sure what else can be done. Fant would be great to keep, but his price, his age, our salary cap, not really things that are working together too well here. I think a lot of these guys are just cap casualties. We could keep them because we have 23 mil. A 2-year, $23 million deal at 34 years old. I mean, he is still really good. He played pretty well as well, almost 1,000 yards. I mean, if he's willing to do it, okay, fair enough. Down to 12 mil. The rest are going to be going to free agency. So I traded Jordan Brooks off for a 5th-round pick. Oh, he's 29 in fairness. But I was about to say, if he was in his prime of his life, he would become our tight end. But he is not. He's, nearing the end. He's a younger Noah Fant, but he's not even as close to as athletic. There's some pretty good players here, but obviously, the whole point of this is we're broke. And we want to try to keep whatever we have as much as possible, and obviously this is the biggest drop-off we've had in talent. Maybe we try to squeeze out a sneaky deal on Mr. Blackwell, but I don't know if that's going to happen, so we'll see. But yeah, let's try to cheese the hell out of this. A 5-year, 40? That would be kind of busted, but highly doubt he takes it, and we do need a punter. As far as what we're going to be drafting, I'm going to probably look for edge because Mafe is 86 overall. We need a new edge for the future. And then as far as O-line, we definitely need O-line, and a wide receiver / tight end wouldn't hurt because Evans needs a contract. We'll probably pay him, but I don't know if we can afford him, and obviously Metcalf's getting older. And Tanner ended up becoming a free agent. Obviously, he's 30 years old now, but still, it's a bit early, I feel. Oh, that could be big. A 5-year 40 for the left tackle, TJ Blackwell, who's an 84 overall. It's not the cheapest deal in the world, but it is decent. His power blocking sucks, but he's a pretty good finesse blocker and, in general, a decent tackle, I suppose. But yeah, it's costly for sure. We got a new punter as well, which was a really nice deal. 95 kick power, 80 accuracy. But that actually gives us options now at tackle. I should have actually checked if we actually needed one. I just assumed we did. Trent is kind of young still, but what about right tackle? We could get rid of Banson. What's his contract? Because he's not really asking for a lot. I don't want to lose talent, and he's playing really well, but if he needs a contract this year, I think the tackle we just signed for pretty cheap considering tackle money, especially left tackle money, I think, yeah, we should get rid of him. This is like his final season. I mean, with that contract and his overall, he's probably worth a decent second-round pick, so if there's a team that really needs a tackle and they're willing, I'm going to do it. We trade Banson and 90 for 39 from the Bills. So when people like complain about me like trading, a 99 overall that I created to make a trade go through, think of the other side of it where I traded a 90 overall tackle that I could have probably gotten a full first-round pick for, but I ended up going for a lot less because I know the value. So, just keep that in mind. That's all I ask. And I'm going to put Trent at right tackle because he's a lower overall. The other guy's been around the block more, and hopefully at right tackle, Trent will be a little bit cheaper to re-sign if we can or want to. But we have our offensive line kind of set for the moment, and we shall... Pierre's still really young, which is cool, but... we shall head into the draft looking still probably for linemen, but mainly edge. Fifth year option for the edge, which I want to keep him, but I debate signing him for the 5th year. I think he's going to be expensive no matter what. 5th year, I think it's better to just not. And then Tony Evans is a definite no, as he obviously is only star still, so his contract, if we choose to re-sign him, would definitely be cheaper than the 5th year. It sucks that this tight end is round 1 because he might be generational. He's got pretty good key ratings. We don't know all of them, but an A catch is, a solid starting rating. But 6'4", 21 years old with a 4.46 40, elite speed, elite excel. I would love to have him, but I do not think we're going to get him. He's around 1. He could go top 10. I mean, not even could go. Should go top 10, really. Wow, number 2. I lied. Michael Morales was on my list as well, but I think, once again, we're kind of looking for the future. I mean, 35 bench press reps is pretty solid. It is. He went from 39 to 35, though. That is a drop. Do I just believe in the combine rather than the pro day? That's what I seen at first when I scouted him, and then obviously now it's like, oh, he dropped to 35. I'm going to go for him. 39 reps. Hidden development trade, 91 string. Not as fast, strong as I would have thought, but, he's hidden. It was probably a bad decision, to be honest, but it is what it is. Pick 7 now after the trade of our 90 overall tackle. Another lineman is there. Any of those DTs still there? Culliver is there. We have the DTs, but they're like not the DTs, if you know what I mean. Free safety Kinney is pretty good. I might trade this down. I really like Martin, but we just don't need him. We just don't need him. I got to stop drafting really good corners when we don't need them at all. And sadly, edge just wasn't really a thing. So we're going to trade down. If I can even get a first round next year, okay, I would do it. First round next year, that would be a lot to ask for, but they might do it. Pick 7 is really high. If you're a Super Bowl contender, I mean, you're gaining for sure if you trade your first round. Comment says the Chiefs are pick 5 when they literally are 61st pick. Here we go, Falcons. 39 for 32. That'd be a win for us because I don't really need anything right now, and you never know with the Falcons. They could just drop off the face of the earth, but they make the trade, and with that pick, they will go, Culliver was good. That's a good pick. That was a guy that I was even debating on taking right there if I didn't get a trade. I don't have a whole lot I need. I guess I'll take Bartell because those key ratings look solid, and normal dev. We trade our center George Trout for 70 from the Lions, and with that pick, I'm going to be taking Kinney. And yeah, I mean, we're basically just shifting players left and right at this point, but I will be taking a free safety, maybe for the future, maybe just as a backup. Carter Kinney, white dude, 5'11", or 5'10", 208, with really good zone coverage, and he's pretty athletic, so hoping for the best with Carter Kinney and normal development trade. Okay, a couple of bad picks here in a row, but like we've said multiple times now, we don't really have much to draft, and we're just hoping that we keep the team rolling as much as possible, which for the most part we have done a good job of. It's just the team isn't really doing a whole lot. Running back is one of our needs for sure. Wide receiver isn't. Corner really isn't. I'm going to take JoJo Sharp, 6'1", 21 years old, and hidden. Kenneth Walker needs a contract this year. Could this be the future heir to the throne? I don't know, but power back, we'll see. And 5th round kicker I think is fair for a guy that, like I said, I think is generational. Elite kick power, A accuracy, A awareness, A short. I don't think the short matters, but hoping for the best. He's not, but he is normal dev, 97 kick power, very close to that Morgan fella that we've had for a while now. I mean, it's a good pick. I just wish we had auto trades. The trades are just like, they're not asking anymore, unless, once again, it's because we don't have that ability on. I know that's like an ability we usually have pretty early in a rebuild, but we have our XP gains on slowest, I think, because it was just too easy to gain them throughout the franchise itself. But we're going to grab a 4th round next year if we can, with this 6th round next year with the 5th this, which we do. And then in the 7th, I don't know what our fullback situation is. We need a fullback like 24/7 it seems, so I will be going for one, I suppose. And this guy looks pretty good. A B pass block, A run block, normal dev. I don't see hidden fullbacks often. I thought that was going to be one of them, but not quite. Here we go with the recap. I mean, I don't know how many of these guys are even starters. I don't even remember who the hell we drafted. Oh, the guard is 77, and the kicker is 76. The rest are very awful, though. Even the running back, who was hidden, 68 overall. These overalls are pretty misleading, and you can see here why. 74 change direction, though, is really bad, but he is a power back after all. What is the dev? Maybe he's a freak. Star dev, he's still pretty good, though. I mean, for that pick, oh, I just Marshoned him. It is what it is. At this point, it's been like well over a decade, so it is what it is. McCullers, take a look at the dev and obviously look at the ratings. Did we land ourselves a beast? Oh, we did. We did. We got ourselves a beast, all right. I suppose future replacement would probably be Pierre, so move him to right guard. Let's take a look at what those ratings are, though. 91 strength, obviously, and his power blocking really sucks, but he's insane at finesse blocking. It's like he's a tackle, but really small. It's like Isaiah Wynn. Here is the squad for, I believe this is now Season 7. Backup running back could use some work. Kenneth Walker's still a really good overall. I think he's another one of those players that'll like retire good. So we could probably give him like a 4-year deal and be all right with it because he is still great. But yeah, like I said, he's probably one of those guys that'll retire before he actually sucks. So might as well try to re-sign him if we can afford him. And the defense is still really good. It's just... we can't get over the hump. We win a playoff game or two, maybe get to the playoffs or the Super Bowl, and that's about it. We usually just fall apart right after that. Oh, 99 mil. So Tariq Woolen at this point I think would be a... Oh, man, Theory does want a lot, but I probably will have to pay him. Yeah, I mean, Woolen probably will be let go. Kenneth, I think this is a perfect amount. A 3 or 36. I think he'll retire by the end of that contract. Woolen's not bad, but we have better options to replace him with. And as much as Theory hasn't been great yet for us, he is the best option we have, especially with Mafe being let go after the regression from this season. Evans will be a 5-year deal. Honestly, we're going to try to bank on him becoming a superstar or X Factor. So I'm going to go with a 7-year 80, actually. It'll save us in the long term if he becomes that guy, but we are risking it if he doesn't. And Callaway isn't actually that much, assuming he's asking for close to the value it says here, a 5-year 42. He takes it, so we have 49 mil to work with, and we're really not... Also, I did bring Hikaru back as the backup quarterback, which is, I mean, a full circle at this point, but yeah, I think that is a really good re-signing period for us. And you can't really do much about regressions of age, both 33 about to be 34. The best we could do is keep Woolen, but corner is one of our strongest positions. All right, to the wild card round. We are in the playoffs at 11-6. Oh, of course, 11-6 is the one that gives the bye week. NFC looking pretty weak compared to the AFC here. Is wow, there's only 3 teams with 10+ wins. But hey, we'll take that because benefits us, gets us the bye week. Obviously, looking at the season we had, better end to the season than the start. And also, I think the second running back on here was one of the guys I was looking at, Mr. Taj Rivers. Which is, I mean, it's something. But let's take a look at Greer, who is, I mean, he's just him. At the end of the day, Greer is just him. And 40 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 46-87 for yards. Passer rating, one of his best of his career. Kenneth, touchdowns are down, but the yards and the yards per carry are still great, so that's all that matters. Fant with his best season, or one of his best seasons. Metcalf was pretty good. Patterson was a little down, and then Evans was actually pretty good, especially with the touchdowns. Blocking was actually solid. 19 sacks allowed for the tackles is very good for Madden Sim. And then sacks, I'm going to have to change the defensive scheme again, I think. Marshall with 4 interceptions. Morgan was pretty good, but he's done after this season. I'm pretty sure Hoffman, the future long-term punter, did pretty well. And then Evans with the punt return touchdown. Award wins, maybe Greer, probably not, though. He's been very good. He's been in the conversation the whole time. It's just, he was best QB for the NFC side, though. Pierre is a superstar, so that's always great. Little late, but, it is what it is. And let's see if this is the year. I mean, we have that advantage of not having to play the first game. Going against the 9-8 Vikings, we're so much better than them. And we do win by quite a bit. The Panthers are very busted in Sim. Are we going to win? We do. We're back in the Super Bowl. This is the 5th, I believe, Super Bowl of this this franchise, if you will. And it could be our 3rd win. If not, we are negative in Super Bowl win-loss ratio, especially when it comes to the CPU, as obviously the only wins we've had in the Super Bowl are actually when we were playing this franchise some months ago. The Patriots versus Seahawks, full circle. The rematch is here. Can they get revenge for the terrible play call at the goal line that Seahawks fans clearly have never heard about? 14-17. Still pretty close. We're down by 10, or down by 7, down by 4, down by 11, and that might be it. Nice little drive, down by 3 after the 2-point, looking pretty good. And what happened? We missed the field. Good job, Ben Morgan, you moron. 5 minutes left. Come on, offense. They're moving. It's taking a while to get there. And at the last second, they get the touchdown. Seattle is back with a Super Bowl win. Holy crap. I actually legit thought, it's ironic, this is the worst team we've had since winning the Super Bowl when we were still playing this franchise, like I said, and it's the one that wins the Super Bowl. Obviously, there's a lot of things that can go wrong and can go right, that need to go right, that haven't. But ultimately, this team should have won more than they have, but at least they have won at least one AI Super Bowl, and there are still 3 seasons left to do it. Greer is obviously going to be here and fine for the foreseeable future, so realistically, there is still options and opportunities here. We are going to lose some of our OGs, but Tariq Woolen retires as one of the greatest corners of all time, considering his size, the amount of interceptions he's had, and 3 Super Bowl titles. And obviously Greer is well on his way as well. Maybe 1 or 2 more Super Bowls, and he would actually maybe be the GOAT himself. Great seasons in the regular season, great stuff in the playoffs, and obviously the Super Bowl wins to go with it. Let's take a look at the game itself. Greer was solid. Mac Jones was a little bit better, but we did have more rushing touchdowns in fairness. DeAndre Swift gets a Super Bowl win. Patterson was great. Sacks. Mafe retires a champion, or basically retires a champion. Morgan almost sold, but didn't, and here we are with another Super Bowl win, 3 in this realm, and obviously one with the AI at least. Almost went 0 for 3, but ended up winning one. Obviously, I don't really care too much. It's at this point, we've deserved more success than we've had, but we got the Super Bowl. Obviously, no cheating or anything like that. I mean, I know a lot of people in the comment section say, oh, who would do that? That's sad, but I feel like there's a lot of cheating going on in the old Maddens. And I don't think anyone would have actually retired, but I am curious to see if they did. I don't think there's a chance that we keep Woolen if he's around anyways, but there is something to be said. Oh, no. I didn't even think about Metcalf. That is a mad L. So Mafe did retire. I actually thought he would have stayed another year anyways, but Metcalf retires. Well, I'm glad we paid Evans because he is now thrust into the number 2 spot. Let's take a look at regressions because we obviously might have to, have an option to pay Woolen if we want to. He is a 91 overall. Dawkins is a 90 overall, and Conley hasn't even played. He's the number 3. Dawkins hasn't played that much either. I think even though Woolen is him, man, I really don't want to let him go, though. He's so good still, isn't he? He's so good still. I could give him a 1-year deal. We'll see. We'll see. He might just be the slot corner, though, because I do want Dawkins to start. He's been a backup his whole career because Woolen just won't let go of that spot. I'm willing to do a 1-year 20, even though this is really stupid. I'm just more attached to the player himself than the actual position, but even though the tag isn't that bad, I think it is smart to let him go. I really do. I mean, we're saving a lot of money, which can roll over, And, of course, I mean, we have corners. Corner is not a weak position of ours, even though I will say we probably need to replace Chambers soon. I'd imagine Chambers is like 30, 31, and he's 93 overall. Actually, he's pretty good. So he's 30 years old, so he actually is solid. He might actually be here for the rest of this rebuild, similar to what Woolen would have been if we decided to... Well, I guess I couldn't really say that because there's no way he would have been here for another 3 seasons. But looking at what we need to replace, right outside linebacker for sure. So if there's a free agent, safety might become a problem soon enough. Marshall is now 30. A lot of these guys that I think we drafted as rookies in, when we were actually playing this might just barely make it for the rest of this thing. But it is something to be noted on, I suppose. Dawkins, was he like 28? 26. He's a lot younger than I thought. It's really hard to keep track of which rookies are how old because, once again, we're replacing these guys 24/7. Patterson can't be that old, right? 31. I thought he'd been like 29, 30, but we actually just looked at his last, his age last season, actually, so it kind of actually fits. But let's go to free agency, see if there's an edge rusher. That's the big position that I don't want to replace through the draft because it's so hard to find a good one. So let's see if there is one. And sadly, it appears not anyone. We have I guess that outside linebacker. We'll take a quicker look, or a closer look anyways, at him. 25 years old, Jose Randall, 91 finesse move. Did he ever actually start? It seems like with that rating, he didn't. He never started. He was kind of a backup. Actually, I think he was in the wrong scheme, maybe. I don't know, but it's interesting enough. I'm going to give him a 4-year 28 to play edge for us because edge is so hard to get. And 25 isn't like the end of the world. It's obviously not preferable, but it's not the end of the world. So that's that. And, who is this? Oh, this is the guy that I was going to take. Do I not grab this guy? How well has he played? This could be our new Noah Fant for years to come. Obviously, he's not as big, but why is Jacksonville not paying him? I guess it is red interest for us, so maybe he just doesn't like signing contracts. I don't know. He's like just annoyed. 5-year 70? It's not great, but it's doable, which, I mean, that would set that tight end position for years. And once again, that is another position that is really hard to draft. And I'm surprised running back is as strugglesome as it is. Usually that's like the most abundant position, but not sure why I backed out. How many rebuilds I've done in Madden 23, I still back out sometimes when I know I could just, left analog stick click. And we got him out. So we got a beast tight end for the future. And we have an edge rusher who has potential. All right, so we don't need corner, but at pick 6, because Atlanta was garbage, we have a really solid-looking corner who may be able to play safety at worst. Not the most athletic, but athletic enough, and those key ratings are too good to pass on, I think. Hidden development trait, 91 speed, 92 excel, 5'10", and there was that 6'4" corner, obviously, but banking on those key ratings more than anything, and we've got another Sherman here in Seattle. There's a couple of DT types. Where the hell were they? Henry and Jennings. So, Henry's actually not a DT type at all. What the hell am I even talking about? But they're both pretty solid. I don't know what that edge is going to be like for us. I'd probably rather have Chris Jennings. So I'm going to go to like 22 and probably trade up if he's there. I tried to trade a third, and this and next didn't work. So I ended up giving him a next year second to move up 10 spots, which we'll be taking Jennings with. We had 5th-year optioned Barber, so I'm not really sure what his contract's going to be like the following season, but I think Jennings looks good enough to take that role, perhaps, if, it comes to that. But obviously, A block shed, B power move, B tackle. Not the greatest athleticism traits, but big and normal to have. Nice. There's some decent linemen here. Even Rush Jordan is still here at 2-3 at 32. I'm going to grab him. Rush Jordan, hidden development trait, 90 strength. 21 years old. That's a win. And I think with this pick, I kind of want that safety. I don't know if I really need him, but I am actually going to trade this pick to... It was Buffalo that needed the pick, right? Or doesn't need the pick, but, they have the player or the pick for us. I'm actually going to trade Conley off. We haven't used him. We just got a new corner. Easily worth 65 and then some. Superstar 24-year-old. I mean, that should have been higher, but you know what? I've gotten my good fair share of solid draft pick returns, so... I'm going to live with that. And then with that pick, we're going to be taking Dwayne Nichols. Don't even really need a safety just yet, but 5'9", some athleticism. Us and them damn short safeties. Sadly, another normal. God, man, these safeties are selling me. And then at 32, if the running back's there with all those A's, I might take him. Don't really need a running back because we have Kenneth for another 3 years, and the backup we have now is, he's got potential. And yeah, we are going to take him. Townsend is there. A bunch of A's. Pretty good athleticism. Welcome to the squad. Hidden development trait with those key ratings. Could be a pretty good player. And then at 20 in the fourth, we could use as many wide receivers as we could get, especially after basically moving everyone up one slot on the depth chart. So, never mind. I was about to say that wide receiver slot looked pretty fast. Not going to grab him, so I think we're going to trade down here. Let's take a look at the draft recap. The corner looked pretty good. Oh, and he was an 80 overall cornerback, Josh Sherman. Turns out if you go for the name Sherman, you're not missing out. 84 man. He's good. That's got to be generational, right? Like, that has to be generational. And it is. Nice. Well, cornerback set. If it already wasn't, which it probably was, it's set. The safety was a pretty decent overall as well. The other ones are, who cares? Linemen, we don't really care about the dev too much anymore anyways. Change of direction, solid for this running back. 86 truck. Probably don't need him because, once again, Kennett's going to be here for the rest of this rebuild, but that's a very good-looking backup with Superstar Dev. All right, this was one of our better drafts in this rebuild for sure. Even though we drafted a normal development trait, pick 22 that we had to trade up for DN that'll never be anything, but made up for with the corner, and that running back was pretty good too. Prime of his life, Vincent for 64 from the Bengals. All right, here's the team for year 8. New tight end, even though Fant has been great for years. He's 86 overall now, and he's literally retiring after this season. I'm surprised he's even here at this physical point, let alone, for the future. But wide receiver 3 definitely took a little bit of a hit, so we probably need to draft someone there, especially since wide receiver 1 taking a little bit of a hit. We need him to go to X Factor so bad, but maybe with Metcalf gone, that'll happen. The team still looks really good, specifically on defense, and we're probably going to need a new middle linebacker, but other middle linebacker, maybe wide receiver 2, where, once again, who we are. 82 mil, no one to pay out there. They are. They're all hiding. They're like, we're over here. Pay us, please. Ooh, Trent is exactly what I thought. A 7-year deal worth $49 million. We cooking. What else do we have to do here? Marshall, it's expensive, but he is an X Factor. He's pretty solid, so 4 years, 68. It's nice to have a little bit of money to spend now. 59 mil. I don't think we could pay Alexandria. Obviously, aren't going to pay Fant. Patterson's a little costly, but what options do we have at wide receiver? Oh, come on. I just hope he's doing well enough to get to Superstar. Let's see what kind of season he's having at the midway point. Oh. Yeah, we got to pay him. He wouldn't take a 3-year 90. He says would like to play for a new team. We're obviously going to tag him, but 11-6, pretty good year. Just like last year. No bye week this time, but 11-6 was good enough to win the Super Bowl last season. Once again, we will have to play that wild card round, but overall, could be like a repeat of last year almost. Let's take a look at some of the new position starters, see what that turned out to be. Career doesn't seem to care. He's having his best season of his career. Walker is, he's slowing down a little bit. Patterson should be an X Factor. I'm hoping. Mincy was good. Evans is still just not proven that he's him. Blocking was actually really good. Sack totals, what is that? 3.5. What is that? The edge was terrible. We're in a 3-4. I don't know to tell you. Chambers, what a season. Herman was great. Punting was decent. And then no touchdowns for special teams. Still, though, Greer at 5. 116 passer rating is 5th for MVP. Okay. Rookie of the Year goes to Sherman, who is playing the slot. Not that it really matters. Pierre with another win. And then Chambers with DB of the Year. Some pretty good award wins there, actually. Let's see. Against Washington. Can we go back-to-back? Can we go back-to-back? Wow, we didn't even win the first game as a 93 overall. Okay, I'm sure of it. And they don't even take our spot. The Bengals, we did trade that lineman to them, so I feel a little bit better about that because it's not going to be that good of a pick. But they do lose to the Eagles, so there's that. All right, heading on to year 9. What dev-ups did we get, if any? Patterson? Nice. Okay, so even though he's not on our team technically, we are obviously going to tag him. 3-year 90, not good enough at 32 years old. Okay, dude, sure about it. I'm sure. Theory was an X Factor already, was he? So we went up to X Factor after that season, right? Okay, it might have already happened. Like I said, I'm struggling to keep track of who's what at this point, so I apologize if there's somebody that went up in dev and I just completely forgot to show them, but it's really hard for me to keep track. I suppose we'll go with zone because he's going to get man coverage / slot upgrades anyways. And yeah, there's an 85 overall X Factor rookie for you. He's going, and then a +2 to speed. How is that even fair? Holy crap, that's busted. All right, pick 23. Who the hell is this tight end? I mean, we don't really need a tight end, but a round 1 tight end always gets my attention. Ooh, he actually does look pretty good too, but we don't need a tight end, sadly. That is a position we're going to be skipping out on. But a linebacker is one of the biggest needs we have, if not the only need. Caleb Gray is going to be my guy, I would assume, but 2 to 3, we're at round 1. So we could probably gain a little bit by moving back to like 5 in the second round, which, you know, for the most part, we've actually been sitting at that pick and taking the players. This time, though, I need a little bit of value because, well, our draft pick is 31 in the second, and we should have more than that, but, you know, we had to make that trade up for the player that sucks. We trade with Cleveland to get 37 and 69, which is, I mean, that's all right. Which hopefully that linebacker's still there, which if he's not, that is a mad sell. But 2 to 3 typically means at least outside of the like top 8 in the second round. So that's what we're banking on. He's still there. Caleb Gray, athletic, 21, 6'2". Hidden development trait. What can you ask for? 91 speed, though. That's kind of busted. And you know what? Even though his name is Daniel Jones, he is a fast wide receiver. Look at all the elites. I'm going to trade up for him as well. Well, I wouldn't say trade up for him as well, but ironically enough, trading with the Giants to get Daniel Jones. Not what you think it is. Ultimate clickbait if I chose, which obviously it wouldn't actually be ultimate clickbait. No one really cares. No one actually cares. But we're going to end up trading 2 and I guess 69. Why not? That should do it. And it does. Going to grab ourselves a speedy wide receiver, which will be number 3 for us. And obviously, Patterson's not getting any younger. So if we need to replace him, because we just can't afford him and the tag isn't working out, we maybe have an option here. Daniel Jones, speedy. There we go. How many of these fast wide receivers we've drafted and they aren't hidden? Finally, we get one. And it might be early, but I'm going to grab, I think, a new nose tackle. Very good block shed. He's strong. I kind of want the linebacker. I think we can get both, though. So we're going to grab this guy. Hidden development trait, which is nice. Last one we took was actually a while back. And he was star. This guy could be better, but even if he is or not, really it was just a pick to take somebody because, you know, once again, we're pretty set. We didn't grab a lineman this one time, but I don't think we really need one. We're going to go with Landry, another speedy linebacker, 6'3", and also hidden. I don't know if we need him just yet. I think Anderson's still pretty young. That's the guy we kept, right? I think we lost one of our linebackers. Maybe we lost both. I don't even know, but we might go for some Cox now. And we will. He's there, so why not? More speed at wide receiver. Normal development trait, 95 speed, 98 excel. And maybe some trade downs. Here we go. Let's take a look at the team that we drafted. 74 overall middle linebacker, 75 wide receiver, DT, 74 middle linebacker, 71. I mean, they all kind of matter, so we'll take a look at all their devs for the first time in a while. Kenny Davis, don't really need him, but 75, it seems. Block shed, he's pretty raw, but let's take a look at the dev. It's been a long time. It's been a long time, and it will continue to be a long time as we do not get a generational there, or I don't know, like, they're not generational, but at the same time, like, they kind of are, right? Like, a 99 strength X-Factor nose tackle, that would be kind of generational, no? Even if it's not in their definition. Middle linebacker, Caleb Gray, superstar, there we go, we needed that bad. 45, why not? And what else do we have? Nope, that's the DT. The wide receiver, Daniel Jones. Which we got from the Giants, ironically enough. Pretty raw route runner, but pretty good catching. Obviously, super fast, and release is not that bad with the dev of star development trait, but he's still good. Let's go with number 19, I guess. Why not? And then the last player, Landry, who isn't a starter right now anyways, but could be in the future. Raw as hell, not great at block shed, okay zone, and then obviously athletic with the dev of also superstar. Okay. Usually we waste the second of the DT or the middle linebackers we get, but Jordan Brooks number, there you go. I don't know, maybe he gets a burn this time. I don't know, but Gray will be the starter for sure. Here we go, season 9 now. Team is, still intact. It's still pretty good. Don't know how many teams have been able to stay a 90+ the entirety of this kind of timeline, but we have, and we're barely, we're still afloat. We're still doing all right. Gonna change the defensive scheme, though, because that 3-4, that rush, which the 3-4 usually sucks anyways, is even worse than normal. All right, Greer needs a contract, and obviously, he should be here for a lot longer than this. So 5-year, 248, which, I mean, in today's market is like nothing. I mean, we see these contracts like 24/7. Chambers, even though corner isn't, I'm trying to think about it because corner's not a big need of ours technically. I would probably tag Patterson again. Barber, has he even played well? Like, we only have one more year after this, but I do want to like build this team up. He played pretty well last season. He's on his way this season. I guess I'll pay him. I mean, we're pretty broke, but let's see. So then we have 42 mil left. Wide receiver's hard to replace. Tight end's gone. Corner's gone. I guess we don't really have much more to re-sign. Pierre, I think it's time, even though he's so good and he's won multiple Offensive Lineman of the Year awards. It might be time for him to go. Oh, he's been so good, though. Nah, I'm going to keep him. I got to keep him. Going to try to do a 2-year 33. And what else? 26 mil. Chambers, I think you got to let go. Patterson's a wide receiver, so we might have to try to keep him, but I don't know if we can. We did okay here, I think. Playoffs, second to last chance, 12-5. Cardinals are of, this division itself has waken up. I really should have stopped showing our win-loss a while ago, to be honest. Career. That is his best season by far. Has he ever won MVP besides this season? Because obviously he won it this season. I actually completely forgot to change the scheme as well, so not really sure what caused this, but we'll take it. And even the defense was better. Bro! Like, it's crazy. I'm watching, really bad kicker, but I'm watching the butterfly effect, and, like, obviously he, like, passes out and forgets things a lot. I honestly feel because of the season we just had that I actually, like, passed out and forgot that I changed the scheme. But I don't think I did. Like, I don't understand all of a sudden how it's so good. I'm confused, but hey, we will take it. That if that's not MVP, dude, thank you. It's finally. Once again, I don't remember how many MVPs he's had, and that might be his first. Best QB, we have the best defensive player of the year, O-line again, D-line, linebacker. I mean, that's killer, dude. That is really good. But let's see it. Can we win another Super Bowl? This time, second AI, which would match our user. Very good game there against a really tough opponent. Another tough opponent here against the Buccaneers. And we lose by 3. Yikes. I don't know if we're going to be able to tie it. I really don't know if we're going to be able to tie our user Super Bowls with the AIs. It's the last chance. Buccaneers, ironically enough, did win the Super Bowl, so we lost to the Super Bowl champions, which is like, I mean, I guess it's more fun, fair, feels better about it. I don't know. Patterson 90 overall. I mean, because it's the last year, I'm going to try to tag him if I can, to be honest. Like, I think you try to keep the team alive for one last season. McCullers has been wasted, by the way. Absolutely wasted. Defensively, what am I missing here? Maybe there was a dev up. I can't really even think of one that went, but we got to try to keep Patterson if we can because, like I said, it's the last season. Taj Rivers, he's only 25 even after all this time, it seems. All right, I mean, I guess, but obviously we're broke, 21 mil. I'm surprised we even kept the team as much as we have, and wide receiver actually has been pretty weak in free agency, so I'm glad we tagged Patterson for the final season here. The draft obviously doesn't really matter to us technically because we're not going to be starting any youngsters, but we will probably still look to draft for the future. The fact that McCullers is still on the team, yet we never used him, I think I'm going to trade him off for, like, damn near a first-round pick, to be honest. Seems like most teams need some sort of guard. McCullers for pick 29, it's a superstar lineman. It is not easy to get those. All right, even though we won't be here after next season, we are going to be future-proofing the team for, well, actually, this guy kind of sucks. The 4 or 5 was decent, but, yeah, I don't know. He's all right, but I don't think I'm going to grab him. I'd rather just grab this corner that is potentially going to play safety, Sean Davidson. I think that's going to be the guy I grab. It's probably a little early, 2 to 3, but at this point, it's last season. I'm not really too worried about it. Head development rate, 91 speed, 95 excel would be a future safety for sure. And then once again, I don't, it's the last season. I'm going a little crazy, but Malik Owen's going to be our choice. And I say that, we're grabbing players maybe early, maybe not that DT, just wasn't that great in my opinion, but ended up being hidden regardless. Maybe getting a little loose with it, a little sloppy with it. That's what she said, but we did draft 2 really good players. Anyone else? Kirkland, we don't really need linebacker, but, I put him on the list because he looked good. He's got those base ratings. Tight end wouldn't hurt, but we don't really need that right now. I guess it's been a while since we drafted a lineman, so Mr. Christian Caldwell, another hidden, and I mean, the draft has been pretty good to us. Once again, it's the last season. You know, we can't really develop anyone further. I'm not going to go any further than this. It's already been a little bit of a pain constantly drafting players we don't even need for the future that doesn't exist. Running back, same situation. Guy we don't even need, but I'm going to grab him. Normal 89 speed, 92 excel. Key ratings were amazing. Speed was okay, but obviously not great. Pick 17 in the 4th round now. We will see. And this will be... I guess a lineman, Corbin Williamson, scouted him a little bit further, and of course he's normal with all those key ratings looking solid. Any other players? Pick 26, why not? Keep drafting, let's keep doing the damn thing. What else do we got? Anyone left on our list? We do. We have another lineman. He's a D run block guy, but grab him too. Hidden development trait, sure enough, fair enough. And there might not be anyone else after this. I think we did have a UDFA in there, so maybe, but I'm not really too pressed about it. Let's see what we got, if anyone. And it looks to be... Oh, no, Quincy Gray is there. So cornerback, why not? 5'11", 22 years old. Another hidden somehow. I do not know how that guy's hidden, but we will take it. Obviously, you know, we're almost into Madden 24 now, and I still kind of have to say it from time to time, but... The hiddens in this game have been a lot more common than previous Maddens. It's just that they don't really value star dev as much as like we used to, right? Like getting star dev nowadays isn't as good as it used to be because there's so many breakouts that like, you know, at certain positions like DT, you almost want that normal dev for that breakout XP. So as much as it's crazy to get a ton of hiddens, it really doesn't matter that much if they're only star, which a lot of these guys probably will be. No fullbacks? Okay, I was about to say, give me a fullback. Might be a position we need. A to C. I guess we'll take this guy. Dexter Franklin looks the best. 23 years old. Normal dev. Still can't land a damn hidden, huh? Oh, well. And then the 7th round pick, I guess we'll just take some randomer. Maybe another quarterback. We have 12 mil left after all of those draft picks. 75 for the corner. 77 for the DT. 77 for the running back. We actually landed some pretty good overalls, but... Yeah, none of these guys are starters, so I'm not going to look at the dev. We'll see at the end of the video, realistically, at the end of the season / video. Last season, inbound. The final season for the 10-year rebuild of the team we hold near and dear to our hearts, the Seattle Seahawks. And we'll see if we can win another Super Bowl. 1-3 total. Only one as an AI, though. I really thought this team was going to do so much better than that, especially early on, and it wasn't until, year 7 that we actually got to a Super Bowl and won it. We did go to a couple, but lost every single time. This is the team that has a chance to do it. Be 4 Super Bowls total, 2 AI, 2 with us. Can they do it? All right, so Kenneth Walker might retire, but even if he doesn't, you'd want to keep him. So 1 year 8, risking a little bit of money that he may take with him. I don't know if that's how it works in Madden, but I think he may. The center is kind of costly. Patterson, I think at this point it's time to let go. Kicker, you're not going to really do much better than this unless you draft another. So 4 year 18 with 28 mil left. Milner at that age and that regression point, you can see that he regressed hard, would be a let go guy. We're actually not terrible. I mean, obviously you're losing some players, but as far as money goes and who you want to sign, you're not losing anyone because of money, but you are losing some talent in general. Jeremy Brown is pretty good though, so just try to pay him one of these, little 3 year set, 37, fair enough. 16 mil left to try and replace a safety and wide receiver. Wide receiver probably can't do it. Safety you could, but you probably just draft one anyways. Not bad. And not a perfect season. Didn't win the division. 11-6, tied with 2 other teams, but in the playoffs nonetheless. Greer has been ridiculous. Another, back-to-back. It was almost the exact same season. Canada was pretty good. Receivers, finally, Evans shows up, but pretty good stuff there. Contract expiring? Is it? That's not true, is it? I'm pretty sure I signed him till he's 32. He's 28. Let's take a look at this. I mean, I guarantee it's just glitched because it's Madden. It's EA after all. But let's take a look at that contract. Oh, is it? Is that glitched? Because I didn't see his name on the list. Let me take a look at MVPs. I don't really care about the defensive stats at this point. Greer with another MVP. I mean, if he were to win a Super Bowl here, like I said, I think he would retire the greatest of all time. I really do. But let's take a look at... That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to take a look at... Oh, no, yes, I did. I wanted to take a look at the team salaries because For some reason, I feel like that's glitched because I don't remember seeing his name unless I just messed up. I'm almost certain we gave him a 7-year deal because we were like, we're going to hope he gets a dev up. And yeah, okay, I don't know what kind of glitch is going on, but we gave him like a mad deal because, like I said, I figured like 13 mil per year for a starting caliber wide receiver, even if he's star, the upside is higher than the potential loss. But here it is, an 82 overall Packers team, full circle. Could the Packers win it? And they do. But let's take a look at that game. Greer wasn't great, but he didn't throw any interceptions. And, I mean, it was just, we got beat by an 82 overall team. Way to go, EA. But I guess we shall take a look at some of the performers that we've had. Also kind of take a look at what the league looks like as a whole. I would assume some all-time records were probably broken. The Eagles versus the Dolphins. And the winner of this one is the Eagles with a 7-point win. But let's take a look. I guess first things first, some of the longtime players that we care about. Maybe you want to take a look at their ratings. I guess probably not. I guess we're probably just going to look. Oh, yeah, Evans finally went to Superstar. Great. Look at how good Kenneth is still at 35, who apparently didn't retire, I guess. Greer at 97 overall definitely took a little bit of a step back, but overall he is still him. I mean, look at that. Throw power is a little lower than once we checked it a little bit ago. But, yeah, there's not really going to be much checking you can make with this because, for the most part, everyone's going to be regressed more than they're, started. Pierre, though, very good pass blocker, power block, run block in general, not the greatest. And then defensively, was there any guys here? Dawkins. I mean, a lot of these guys we don't really even know. So, a lot of these guys are either regressed beyond, recognition or just guys that, we got in this rebuild that Theory was pretty good. He actually finally started to look solid as well as a performer. And I guess that's really all I'm going to look at for the actual ratings. But let's take a look at the stats of, the players. Some of our longtime players, if we can look at them. Specifically, Greer, obviously. So just under 500 touchdowns, but he still has years to go. 113 interceptions, nearly 57,000 yards, a career passer rating of 114.5, which is great. Rushing, Kenneth Walker, 21,448 yards with 200 touchdowns on the nose. Patterson was pretty decent. Evans is so far kind of slacked. And then that's really all I care about for that. But I do want to see what kind of award wins Greer had, if it lets me. Obviously won 3 Super Bowls, which is pretty damn good. But here are the seasons as they go. So was that his best year, actually? No, it was second to best. Obviously, that one interception changed everything. But 10 Pro Bowl appearances, was drafted pick 8 in the 4th round, league leader in passing 3 times, best QB 3 times, MVP 2 times, and of course a 3-time Super Bowl winning player. Take a quick look at Kenneth Walker, maybe take a quick look at the legacy, and then obviously the records to see if any all-time stuff has been broken. But Kenneth has got to have some crazy ones, right? He may even be the number 1 running back all-time, but 10 Pro Bowl appearances, had the rushing yard title twice. A couple of Offensive Player of the Year awards, 3 of them, 2 running backs, and, of course, Rookie of the Year, which is pretty damn good. Let's take a look at the legacy real quick for all players. All Mahomes at number 1 with 51,000, ended up with 4 Super Bowls. So I guess not the greatest of all time because... Mahomes is already better than him, just right there in this realm. Kenneth, though, 39,000 legacy, 38,000 for Greer. Some pretty good stuff there. Let's take a look at the all-time numbers, though, with the NFL records tab. What about, I guess I didn't really want to see that, but pass yards in a season. Was it, pass yard? What the hell? Pass yards? Oh, that's in a game. Jesus, I'm stupid. I wanted to see season. Fitzpatrick, 2035, pretty insane. Burrow, 2032. What about rushing? Actually, I don't even care about this season stuff. Who gives a damn? Pass yards, though. Brady at 90,000. Mahomes at 8350 or 590. Rushing? That's not rushing. That's quarterbacking. Fair enough. Rushing, Kenneth Walker, the greatest of all time, and he's just short of Jacobs and Hall with touchdowns. I don't know if he's going to play another season, though. I'll probably have to check that out, even though we're not going to play the season itself. Jefferson, second all-time, and a bunch of other real names in behind. Metcalf barely making the list, but touchdowns, number 5 all-time for Metcalf. Catches, Pitts at number 2. Sacks, Myles Garrett with 212, and Bosa also passing 200. Interceptions, I'm trying to think if there's any like real names in here. It's pretty hard to do that. Not going to happen even for Woolen, which is kind of crazy. But let's take a look if Kenneth would play one more season. If he does, that would confirm that he is he would be the touchdown leader all time and push himself even further when it comes to the actual yards total as well. He's already like 2,000 over it. Is he still here? He retired. He was okay with 200 on the nose, which, you know what? That is pretty respectable in fairness. Let's take a look at the retirements here. As we see, Kenneth Walker retires, and the right tackle we've had as a backup for a while also retires. But that is going to be it for our Seattle Seahawks 10-year rebuild, technically almost 15-year rebuild here on Madden 23. If you guys enjoyed this one, please leave a like, as this took a long time to record and it will to edit. And, if you guys enjoyed the series in general, if you're watching when we were actually playing, that'd be appreciative. If you're not new, really appreciate your continued support. Maybe follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr, second channel PKR Plays for non-Madden content, which, once again, might take a little bit of a break as Madden 24 is, it's kind of closing in-ish. But that's about it. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys come back for next video. But until next video, which will be sometime on Tuesday, I'd imagine, see ya!